Well, hi, and welcome to Talking Small Press Comics, episode number 79, with Steve Keeter and me, Larned Justin. So, we are back again with another episode. And to make sure that you catch our episodes, you need to subscribe and then hit that bell notification. Then you'll know when we're on. Right, Steve?
That's absolutely true. And as you know, we're well known for talking about comics and small press comics in particular. But today we're going to talk about rap music. I got two Tom McDonald albums here, brand new. Well, this one's new, and this one is a remix of some old stuff, and they're both signed because I ordered these. And for all you Tom McDonald fans, and I know you guys in the comics community are huge Tom McDonald fans. I want to tell you,
especially me. Who is he?
Oh, he's a rapper. He's an independent rapper, the biggest independent rapper in the world. He does everything himself, and his girlfriend Nova Rockefeller does the production on his albums. So it's kind of like small press, but he puts them out there and he sells millions of copies. And his girlfriend is on this new album. They call themselves together BFGF, which means boyfriend girlfriend. I know you Tom McDonald fans are really getting into this, right? I know you're out there, right? Anyway, don't buy this album. Don't buy these albums. Buy these. These are his earlier albums. He's better by himself. His girlfriend may be great at production, but she can't sing and she can't rap. That's all I wanted to say.
I didn't know you needed to sing to be able to do rap.
Yeah, and I don't, I never listened to rap before, but this guy's kind of good. But I saw something really funny online yesterday. I saw Donny Osmond in Vegas this year doing a 10-minute Donny Osmond rap.
Oh boy!
He raps about the entire history of the Osmond brothers and the Osmond family, and Marie and Donny and Marie.
Yeah, I know who they were.
Great. Check it out.
I'm sure excellent rappers.
So I thought this would be a great way to open a show about small press comics. Small press comics.
Yeah, a show about comics where you don't talk anything about comics at all. Great.
Well, I've been thinking that Larned and I should do a small press rap. Small press rap. That'd be great. You guys want to see Larned and me rap, right? It'll never happen, right? Yeah, I know. We rap every day. We rap every time you see this show. This is us rapping. So we're rapping today.
Yeah. The only thing I'm rapping is comic books that I sell. And that's very few. All right, let's take a look and see what we got today, because we got some stuff to look at.
We do have some good. We don't have a lot, but what we do have is pretty darn good. Pretty good quality stuff.
Which one do you want to do first?
Well, we can start with Yeet. Fantastic Yeet comics.
Yeah, and this is very unusual, and the reason is it's done as a jam comic, but not. It's got rules. Did you notice that, Steve? He put down rules for what they had to do. He invited artists to do it, but then they have to follow, a certain rule. He didn't want the, how a jam comic can get way off base and get real silly. Well, he didn't want that. He wanted them to stick to the story. And
he's basing it on the DC Challenge.
That's what he calls it. He calls it, and it's Black Fury is the hero. And if you look down there, it's called the Exquisite Challenge.
Yeah.
And he has invited a number of cartoonists. And the thing is, they're all excellent cartoonists.
Right.
Do this. But this is the first one. And in here, I kind of marked it. He's listed who does what. It's kind of right in the middle of the book. You can see it right there. Pages 1 to 3 are Bob Kroll and Joe Wong.
Yeah, and Bob Kroll. Apparently, Bob Kroll created the Black Fury. Am I correct?
I think that is correct. I think that's his
Yes, he
character, if
writes
I'm not mistaken.
the first story. The rules that you mentioned don't write a situation that is impossible for the next group to escape.
Yeah, see?
No Deus ex machina or it was all a dream type twist. It was all a dream. That explains everything. And keep the amount of characters to a minimum. I could see why if you're doing a jam comic.
Because it's you lose track of what's going on, and he did not want that to happen. And that is Bob Kroll who did this.
Yeah,
and he does the first one.
This cover. This is
the cover tells you kind of what's going. Well, it's a double cover because it's.
That's right. It's a flip book.
But this kind of tells you what's going on this side. But the artwork is amazing. Here's Bob Kroll's artwork in the first part of this story. And then in the next part, Shane Luttrell does that.
I think Bob Kroll and Joe Wong. I'm thinking.
Yeah, Joe Wong and Bob Kroll.
And then Joe Wong drew the first several pages.
They do 1 to 3. Those two.
I'm not sure who drew.
Page 4 is Shane Luttrell.
Well, by page 3, we already have a seemingly impossible situation because you have an atomic bomb and you have Nazis. Well, this takes place in the 1940s. And they're getting ready to launch an atomic bomb. And they're in New York. They're launching it from New York.
Yeah.
So they put that out there for the next guy who just happened to be Shane Luttrell and says, okay, how are you going to get him out of this?
Yeah. And here's Shane's artwork right here.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you look real good, down at the very bottom of the page, they have the initials. The Shane.
They're real small.
This, but Shane put his initials.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can get them on the screen, but they're very small.
Right here.
But as long as you have this page back here, you can figure out who's doing what.
Yeah,
because that will tell you. And I'm telling you, the artwork is just tremendous in this.
And I instantly recognized Steve Shipley's work.
Oh yeah, his you can spot right away. It's definitely is.
He's as great as ever. He's got an interesting situation to deal too, where the Black Fury is thrown into a shark tank.
Yeah.
by the Nazis, and has to figure out how to get out of that. And he actually gets out of it in pretty spectacular fashion. I don't want to give too much away.
I like this page 12, which is by, these 10 to 12 was by Scott Milan and Kent Clark. But this page 12, that's not it. Yeah.
Page 12 is pretty good. That's a great action page.
I think that's pretty darn good artwork there.
And there goes the shark.
Yeah.
And the shark, the big giant shark, he becomes sort of a reluctant hero in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the first half of the book is this jam story.
Yeah.
But
then all of a sudden, when you finish looking at who drew what, the very next page is a comic with no word balloons. I wish I could talk. There's no word balloons in this. It's just a 2-page comic, and I have no idea who did it.
Very funny too. It's
but
pretty funny.
I don't know. Quick. I don't know who did it. I think there's a name on the last
down
page.
At the bottom. Yeah. Guia.
I don't know who did that.
Yeah. There may be some more credits somewhere in the issue, but I didn't see them here.
I didn't see any more, because if you go to the other side, which is this.
It's very well done. And then the next page after that is the letters column.
Yeah, that's the comments page.
Now, if you look, the very first letter, the very first comments there, hope I'm not covering up the microphone here, but the very first comment is from a guy. Oh, this light is really, I got to get my lighting worked out. But over here, someone named Steve Ketter. And it looks good on what you got. Ketter
wrote a very short note there.
Yeah, Steve Ketter. Who's that guy?
I don't know who Steve Ketter is, but he lives in Orlando, Florida, and he did the first comic.
Steve Ketter. It reminds me of Steve Ketter somehow.
Right.
Ketter. Well, okay, I'm in good company. Joe Carrales is on this page, and Clayton Merwin, and a bunch of a few other people.
Yes.
So reviews or letters are from Yeet number 61, which is another fine issue.
Here is, if you come at the book from this side, another wonderful cover, really neat.
Yeah, who did that one? Well, that's the Hero Maker.
I think Kent Clark did it. I think that's Kent Clark.
I know he definitely did. Kent Clark did the inside.
No, I'm wrong. It is signed.
It is front cover on this side.
And I can't see it. I have to
put
my glasses on. Just 1 second. I'd like to know who did that.
Both covers are terrific. This cover is in sort of an old Marvel, old Charlton.
It's not anybody's name. It just says Hero Maker.
I know. It says Hero Maker. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
Is it in there somewhere? Darn.
But I think it might be this Kent Clark who does this,
Yeah. He definitely has some work on the inside.
Look at that.
Anyway, what happened is we have two characters. We have the Black Fury, who has become evil. The Nazis have attained control over him, and he's battling against the White Warrior. He dresses all in white. Yeah, and they've put the Black Fury in a rage, and they've also put him on some kind of steroids that make him larger, stronger, faster. And the White Warrior has his hands full, and this is very much a fight and battle, survival of the fittest comic. This whole story is the White Warrior is just trying to survive.
Yeah,
but the Black Fury is so enraged that it's really tough. So it's a battle story. If Jack Kirby had drawn this, it would be almost this good, but it looks great. It looks great as it is. I would like the credits to be in.
I believe
nice.
These pages right here are not numbered, but I believe starting here is a different artist, don't you think? I don't think it's the same guy, but I could be wrong, but I think it's a different artist. But it doesn't really say. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the same one did the whole thing. I don't know. I think that's a different artist, don't you?
I did get kind of a kick out of well, here's I don't know, but it's great art. And here's the Black Fury. He's back to normal now. Yeah. Not too happy about the way things have gone. The the Black Fury and the White Warrior is kind of assuring him everything's going to be all right. But then they encounter another person. Someone drops down from the skies and says, because they're apparently this is just at the beginning of the Second World War. And she says, my home is under threat too. Your cause has now become my cause. I am Sheena. And I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a chuckle out of this. She says, man has named me the Savage Blonde. The Savage Blonde, by golly.
Savage Blonde, right?
I don't know if we're going to be saved or if we're going to be in big trouble. Just looking at her.
Yeah.
That's quite a battle costume to be wearing there. But
that's
Yep. But there she is, the Savage Blonde.
And
it's a great story.
It kind of I don't know where she goes, but
to be continued.
I guess that's just kind of an ad, and so we have another story here on the next page.
Story by Tom Maley with art by Steve Shipley and lettering by Chuck
Shipley again.
Tom's brother or something.
And he always, Steve, of course, always has really cool art.
Again, always instantly recognizable. Always a pleasure. Always a delight to see a My pal
Always good.
Out there.
And he does quite a few. There's quite a few pages to this. It goes quite a few. It runs quite a few pages. I don't know how many, but it does run quite a few.
It's a science fiction story. All the people that Larned is holding up, all the faces there on the left side or the right side of the screen. These are all these people who were trained, who were apparently maybe they were test tube babies or something, but they were raised specifically to go on a interplanetary adventure when they got 24 years old or whatever. So there was an Earth-like planet found somewhere way out in space, and these guys are selected and raised specifically for that adventure. And they don't have names; they just have numbers: number 1, number 2, number 5, number 20.
And the thing is, this is This story will be continued. I'm assuming in the next episode, because that's what it says at the bottom of the page.
And really smooth artwork from Steve Shepard. Really some nice stuff. I mean, he just gets better. The older he gets, the better he gets. I mean, that's just been the story.
And speaking of great artwork, out of the blue, for some unknown reason, is a Don Simpson page here.
Don Simpson!
I mean, look at this. This is awesome.
And this is hilarious. Because I started reading this and I was thinking it was a serious story, right? And you get to the bottom and you read through the whole story and you have Megaton Man is in there. Megaton's in there. Megaton
yes, he
Man
is right there. You can see right Megaton
somewhere in that
in the first panel.
Big crowd of heroes. Some old World War II looking like Sergeant Fury, sort of a sergeant washing up on the beach here. Yeah. And he's been transported in time, but on and on and on and it gets. And at the end, it's like a Hostess Twinkies ad.
But why is it in here just out of the blue like that? It's just stuck in here. The sergeant is. It turns out he's someone. He pulls off a mask and he's someone called the Red Meatball. It looks like a big meatball, and he's advertising Gung Ho's. Gung Ho's, the chocolatey creamy treat shaped like a hand grenade. From Hostile, the aggressive treat. If you've ever tasted a hand grenade, you know exactly what that tastes like.
There you go. That'll definitely alter your taste buds. Taste buds if you try to taste a hand grenade. But this one is creamy and stuff, so it's okay. You can order it. Yeah,
it's a great issue. It really is.
It's really a fine issue of Yeet.
A lot of fun in this one.
You got to hand it to Mike Jones.
And I don't see Mike Jones' name mentioned. Maybe it's down here somewhere, but
other than misspelling my name, I have no complaints. But I've been called Steve Ketter before. In fact, I've been Steve Keister, Skeeter, and Baba.
Keister.
People are always getting it wrong.
Steve Keister. Yeah.
Keister. I've got Keister.
Good one.
And there's another guy in small press for decades, Steve Streeter, and he and I were confused with each other. Actually, I thought it would be very dramatic. One day I revealed myself to be like a Klingon, Steve Killer. Not good.
Not good.
Okay. Okay. Something to rap about. Maybe I can get Tom McDonald to rap about that. Oh yeah, remember Tom McDonald? We talked about Tom McDonald at the beginning.
I do remember. All right, what do we got next?
Right now, my allergies are kicking my butt, but very congested. But there's a couple of things left that are really good. And
which one do you want to do?
Okay, well, we got A.T. Walker.
Okay, this is something special.
From Micah Liesenfeld. And we reviewed this one before.
Yes, but this is...
you see this embossed, gold embossed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's number 2 or not, but it's another A.T. Walker, and these are concerned with Micah's little baby. And
it's a slice of life story. Just showing you, this is from the first issue. Like we showed you this before in full color, but it's the true story. And this should be an award winner. This is just one of the finest comics I've ever read in the small press.
I mean, some of the doctors that they refer to in here are as cold as ice. I mean, they have no compassion whatsoever, I don't think.
This is at the end of the first issue. You might remember it was kind of a cliffhanger, but it's a true story. The doctor says, we think the little girl was born, and she's very tiny, and they said, we think she has cancer.
Well, see, that's what I was referring to. They just blurt out to the family, well, we think she has cancer. And I mean, but we don't know yet. I mean, they're just in shock, you know. I mean, what they had to go through with this little baby, and the doctors just say things like that. And we'll get around to testing. You know, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah,
it's terrible.
The one thing I say is, I'll go back to the first issue very quickly. The very first page of the first issue shows the child at like age 6. So we know she's going to make it at least that long. Right.
Yeah.
And then they go back and they start telling the story.
But this kind of shows the whole story of what happened in here.
Yeah, this is the second.
The other thing is, I don't know how to pronounce the disease that she does have. It's is AT.
Give me a shot. I work in a pharmacy, people. Let me see.
Yeah, you might be able to pronounce it or find it in here, but I forgot what it was.
It's in here.
It's hard to say, but
ataxia telangi. Ooh, it is hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Ataxia telangiectasia. Ataxia telangiectasia or telangiectasia, also known as AT, which is why
they what they call it.
Have a problem pronouncing it as well. I mean, but
now all the proceeds from this book go to AT research.
Yeah,
they all go. You know, anything that you if you buy one, they go to AT. It goes to the research for this.
And Micah has a
very rare malady, very rare, but it's not good. You know, not good.
Micah has a Patreon page.
That,
you know, if you become a Patreon, then the proceeds go again to AT research.
Yeah.
So it takes them. They go through the story. It's very poignant. It's very sad. I mean, you see them like here's like this would be Micah himself in the cafeteria. They practically moved in to an ET or a hospital, and they're living there because their daughter spent months in the hospital.
Yeah.
And they even talk about alternating nights, getting up. Eventually, she does come home, but they talk about, and they have to take care of her at home. They talk about alternating nights. So tonight, you get up at
look at the apparatus for the baby, you know, in the baby's room where the crib is. No, not easy. Not an easy thing to deal with.
But they have to get up and feed her like every 4 to 6 hours, and they just take turns. They take turns doing that. I can't imagine.
Yeah, trying to do all that.
I mean, when I was married and our first child was born, and she was a colicky baby, and we took turns because she would cry all night long, and you had to get up and walk the floor with her. And so my wife and I both had to work, and I remember, you know, we took turns. Tonight, you stay awake all night. Tomorrow I'll stay awake all night. But this is
even worse because they've got procedures like this that they have to do to the baby at home.
For shots and
oh boy, just tough.
But this is what a great.
This is very well done. He really tells the story of what happened to them, and you know, now the baby's home and going along, but the prognosis for the future is not that great.
Right. But they do find out it's not cancer.
No, it's not cancer.
Yeah, it's a borderline.
They finally tell them, you know, they're worried. No, it's not cancer. Finally. But that took a while to tell them that.
But it's a situation that could eventually develop into cancer, and they have to keep an eye on her every day for her entire life. Yeah. And it's poignant, but it's beyond poignant. This is a very moving story, and it's one of the finest, seriously, one of the finest small press comics I've ever read.
To tell this story, it's not easy. I'm sure he didn't have an easy time doing it, but he does a great job. And I recommend it highly. I'm trying to see, was there a price on this, Steve? Or do you have to join his Patreon? I don't know.
I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, I think you probably have to, you can make donations. Okay, it says $6.
$6? Okay.
$6. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's well worth it. Plus, it's a donation to charity.
Plus, you can join the Patreon, and you can, they give you the information about donating.
And this does say number 2 right here. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is number 2, A.T. Walker number 2.
And you can see the effect, Micah's showing the effect it has on him. He's stuck at the gate going into the hospital, and the gate's down, and he's just, I'm in hell. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gut wrenching. It's really gut wrenching. And you really feel it. You can really feel for this family and what they've been through and what they continue to go through, from what I understand.
And Micah lives here in St. Louis, and him and I have gotten together a number of times. There's a cartoonist group that we both go to. He can't always go because of the baby, but Ink and Drink is a cartoon group that we do here. I do here in St. Louis. And, when Micah goes, it's great because I got somebody to talk to. Some of the other guys, I don't know that well, but I know Micah.
I mean, Micah, he must be a really strong guy. I mean, because he must be a really strong guy. He gets up and
yeah, he's a real nice guy. But boy, he's got a tough road. Yep.
Wow. Well, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know what to say, but we appreciate what you're doing. You're sharing your story. I know that's not easy.
No,
but man, you're incredibly talented. The way this story is told is totally affecting. I mean, you feel every page of this.
Yeah,
story.
That's the thing. So you feel what they feel. He was able to convey that exactly. Very, very well done. Yeah,
great work by Micah Liesenfeld.
Micah. Yeah. Okay. Make sure you donate to this. Really. Yeah. All right.
Switch gears after this.
Yeah.
Totally different. So take a break, everybody.
Ready?
Everybody cool down for a second. Have your little water.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Bring it on.
This is, I'm assuming you're doing number 39. Is that correct? Yes. This is Cranium Frenzy, number 39. Steve Willis. And right here, you can see it says start. Right there. So you start.
You get to the last page.
Beginning.
The end.
So
it even counts down. The next page counts down.
Here, I'm just going to read this because this is grocery list, and it has ground beef, eggs, milk, ketchup, detergent, dish tabs, litter bags, yogurt, paper plates, small. And in the bottom it says, make a comic out of this grocery list. And that's what he does. So here it's kind of just getting started on this page.
After the countdown. Just looks like an old 8mm movie, counting down 5.
Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then it starts. And it starts over here.
Gotta fix this light. There's too much glare.
The cow is talking to Morty the dog. And it's ground beef to Morty the dog. Come in, Morty. You're reading. So ground beef, which is pretty much at the top of the list. This is ground beef right here. And he is talking to Morty the dog on a string can with a string on it.
Yeah.
And you can see the string going. I mean, the string is in each panel here.
Goes from panel to panel.
Yeah. And then, it did Morty does answer, and he does say, Morty the dog to ground beef. I think we have some interference on the line. So we have pictures of the line there. And then the line goes on to the next page. And it goes through this guy's head.
Yeah, it goes to the guy's head.
Goes right through that guy's head.
And then below that, you have the world's largest egg.
Yes, which is eggs are on the grocery list, and they have found the world's largest egg right there,
which seems to mutate into this big head.
Yeah, and it seems like the egg might be this guy's head. Here. I'm not quite sure who this guy is. Yeah. But there is a vase of flowers there.
Flower vase, yeah.
Now I'm going to go back to the grocery list here. So, well, the next thing was milk. We haven't quite got to milk yet. We got these.
We're still on the vase. Oh, there's the milk carton.
And then on the next page, we do get to, I don't know, the vase turns into a cat. You see that?
This is downright psychedelic, people. This is one of the strangest things I've ever read.
I'm not sure what Steve was smoking while he did this. But, Here is the milk for the cat. Yeah. And of course, on the milk, there's somebody, have you seen so-and-so? Because, he's missing. And they're always on a milk carton if they're missing, So you can see this guy that's missing. And then over on the other page, have you seen me? There's the guy that's missing on the milk carton. And there he is asking if you have seen him. Yeah. And that fades away.
He's falling into something. The same guy, he's tiny now. He's falling into something and like a wastebasket or something. And then he's propelled out.
Well, I was finishing this page where this guy fades away. He fades.
Yeah, but I think it's the same guy. So if you look at the next page, at the very first panel is he's gone. He's in a frame, you see. He's in a frame. And
who's the guy down below on the bottom? That's the same guy.
That's a penguin. This penguin looks like a couple of penguins.
Are you on the same page I'm on? This is important stuff.
Okay. I'm on the next page.
Well, I'm telling you, this guy faded away, came back, and faded away again in the last panel.
Yeah. See that? Yep.
I mean, you can't pass that stuff up. Now, we have on the next page, actually, the page actually is for ketchup. And the bottom panel, come on, hurry up, you need to catch up.
You need to catch up.
I'm not quite sure what's happening in the first couple of panels here. Are you?
I think that's the guy who fell out of the frame and he fell into a little, like a hat or a wastebasket, and then he's propelled out. And then he goes up into the sky and it starts snowing. And now we don't see him anymore. We see penguins in the snow cavorting. And I mean, this is crazy.
They're in a snow globe. They are in a snow globe, which is logical,
Yeah.
And then there's an alligator attempting to eat the snow globe.
Yep. The alligator. And you back up. And there, if you back up, there's like a farmer on the other side of the snow globe. He's treating it, it's like a snow plow or a plow, like he's plowing a field. Right. And the gator's biting the head. And this just gets stranger and stranger and stranger. The heads over to
now I'm going to go back to the grocery list here. After ketchup comes detergent. And what are disintabs? Because I think that's the clown's eyes.
It's dish tabs, like you put in to wash dishes.
Is that the clown's eyes?
Dish tabs.
Those? No.
Could be. I don't know. I don't use dish tabs.
I
but I've
don't
seen
either.
them. You put them in the dishwasher.
I guess.
But this story is absolutely psychedelic. I mean, it's really like I haven't
don't
seen
know.
anything like this since the early 1970s.
I don't know what Steve is doing here, but wowie.
He was taking a wild, crazy vacation.
Yeah.
This is among the strangest stuff I've ever, even from Steve Willis.
We got litter bags, yogurt, and paper plates toward the end. So if you can determine
at the end.
what the litter bags and all that are, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to really keep up. One panel flows into the next, which flows into the next, which flows into the next, and somewhere towards the end, Morty, the dog, pops back in there.
Yeah.
Morty.
Well, here's the paper plates right here on the blue plate special.
The blue plate special. Yeah.
Yeah. Something is pulling that.
Yeah.
And Morty the dog is still in a balloon coming down, and the cow is down there. Just grateful this didn't end with a hamburger, is what the cow says.
Yeah. Which brings us back to ground beef. But Morty's looking down. He's in a hot air balloon. He's looking down and says, wow, they look like ants down below.
Right.
They actually are ants. The balloon is on the ground. The hot air.
And he's looking at ants.
So he's looking at ants. So no wonder they look like
the
ants.
back page says Finn.
Yeah, and there's Sebastian Cabot.
Yes.
Right there.
And this may be the last appearance of Sebastian Cabot, I think. I think this is the end of Sebastian.
Maybe.
I think so.
I think you don't know what to expect from Steve Willis. You really don't expect the unexpected. But this is
very
one of the wildest comics. Even for Steve, this is really out there. It's like his imagination went like, let's just go totally berserk this time.
Now, he did say that Cranium Frenzy is going to be taking a break. He's moving on to something different.
Yeah.
He did tell us that. And I think this may be the first issue of something a little different.
The last issue of Cranium, or at least for now, number 40. Yeah.
This contains Steve. Steve is going to be doing a Jam comic. This contains the first few pages of the Jam.
Oh, yeah. And you committed to that Jam comic, right?
Yes. I already sent mine in.
Steve Willis, if you're watching, yes, I will do something for the comic. Let me know what to do.
I sent mine in. So anyway, this is the cover. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that one of the guys from the Jam did that cover.
That's not Steve?
No, I don't think so. Cover and pages 6 to 10 are done by Buzz Bazizik. Buzz Bazizik.
Yeah, and at first I didn't think he was a real person, and you told me that you met him in person.
No, I didn't meet him, but I know who he is. Yes.
He's a real person.
Yes, he is.
I thought it was a pseudonym for somebody else.
Yeah, but Buzz Bazizik is a real person. He has sent me stuff. He makes a lot of different little things. He does comics. He does a lot of different things. But apparently he did the cover. Now, you would think for sure that is Steve Willis, but I think Buzz did it using Steve Willis art.
It says inside covers and page 6 to 10 a copyright Buzz Bazizik.
So if we look at pages, just for the heck of it, let's look at 6 to 10 so we can see. And I don't think you will notice, if Buzz did this, he sure copied Steve very well. Yeah. Because that is supposed to be by Buzz.
Looks like Steve, unless that's pretty wild too. That page 6.
6 to 10.
Yeah.
Is Buzz.
These people who went through some steam cell research or something, and there's a guy with dog legs, a lady with chicken legs, or a guy with chicken legs, and a lady with a fish tail.
Yeah.
And Morty pops in there too. Apparently, he's been cloned into a bunch of little Mortys, which is why you have multiple Mortys on the cover.
Right. Exactly. But I just wanted to kind of show that this is the first attempt at a jam comic from Steve. But let's just go back and look at the very first page, which is a cranium gallery. And you can see the different craniums right there. There's a bald cranium. There's one with hair. There's one with straight hair, one with a buzz cut, and one with just hair on the sides.
Yeah, I don't think I see
different kinds of craniums.
But I'm in a frenzy over this, reading the rest of this issue. Ha 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 ha. I'm old, humor me.
Yeah. Now, here's a passage of time in the blink of an eye. You just notice that?
Yeah. The guy blinks in the third panel.
Time has passed.
Or the fourth panel. I would say something about
I like this one. I can't believe my ears. Because this guy had an operation on his ears and they put them on backwards. If you've ever had your ears operated, you know how painful that can be.
Yeah. So it's an everyday occurrence. That happens all the time.
It happens all the time. The doctor, apparently looking in a mirror, has put the ears on backwards.
Imagine if they'd done that to Donald Trump after he got shot,
Yeah,
backwards.
They could have done that very easily.
Yeah, it would have made for a very interesting rest of the election.
Right.
I'm wondering, I think, but right, if you look at page 6, look at page 7, and this panel doesn't quite look like Steve Willis.
No, I was thinking it didn't. That one particular panel there is close, but that must be Buzz.
But the one beside it looks almost exactly like Steve Willis.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a difference in the inking. Maybe a little.
I don't know. I think maybe the line a little heavier than Steve's line, but I don't know.
He captures the essence of what Steve does, and it works. It works so that if you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Even if it didn't say that in there, I would never noticed it. Yeah.
We're going through it.
So there is a gallery, cranium gallery number 2 from the exact top down, in case you're interested.
I don't think I'm
in the same hairdos, but from the top down.
Yeah.
So
this is important. You have to look at the cranium from all angles, people.
That's right.
Steve supplies this.
Yeah,
to give us all something
just for us to know that craniums look different.
Yeah. And on the other page, Morty is amidst all the tiny little Mortys who have been released.
Right, and here is a situation not desirous. Lab 73 released and invented a virus, but I don't see it as a downward spiral. For Morty the dog will now go viral.
Viral.
How about that?
Poetic.
Yes.
Literally viral.
Literally is what it says.
Yeah. And Sebastian Cabot does in fact pop in. I see him in this.
There he is. Okay, so there he is. And
somebody's thinking about him. On the opposite of this page.
Cranium gallery number 3 goes down to the foreheads.
Yeah, I think this used to be me, but I don't part it down the middle anymore. That one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're in there. Where were you at? You in there anywhere?
I don't really see me.
No. There has to be a sequel then. Cranial.
We need to add another panel for me.
Yeah. It does come back at the end, sort of the story of hair in 3 parts. Part 1, part 1, part 2, and part 3, depending on where you part your hair. Part 1 or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. That's on the inside back cover. Yes. Yeah. We do have a detective story in here, though.
Yeah, a very disgusting detective story.
But
starring a large, disgusting glob.
Glob they found.
Yeah, and
It's the
apparently
star.
it leaks. You can
It's
see the
actually the
fumes coming
star.
off of it. I don't know if that's a pile of poop or what it is, but it's totally disgusting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They got the wrong guy behind bars because he says he was framed. Right there.
There we go. Back to the frame jokes again. Yeah. And this disgusting blob is apparently a detective.
Yeah, because he has in this panel, you can see his hat. And only a detective wears a hat like that.
That's right.
So he's a detective.
Stephen gets engaged in a gun battle here at the bottom there on that page. Hard to kill a disgusting glob like that, but at least they knocked his hat off.
Yeah.
A car chase. He's driving a car over here somewhere.
Yeah.
And
and in the last panel, it fades out, just like a real movie.
Yeah. And you got this clown. We saw him in the previous issue, and we've seen him before. He's a kind of a Archie Bunker type clown. He's irreverent.
He's in there for
very
comic
happy
relief.
guy. Yeah,
because the story's so serious. He's in there for comic relief.
Big stinking glob of detective matter running around getting in gun battles. You got to have some comic relief in there. So you got
So you have the clown to come in.
Clown in there smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah. So once again, I don't know what's coming next. Oh, this is good too. And the one about you looking at Mad as Hell?
Yes.
Look at he talked about timing like the one before Time. His comic timing, Steve Willis's timing in the way that he tells stories is great.
Yeah.
You know, like deadpan face, and then he says all of a sudden, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore." And then it goes back.
It goes right back to him taking it.
Yeah, I mean, if you could judge this by time, the timing is perfect. He knows how to tell a joke. You know, you can have 6 panels, and there's one funny one somewhere in the middle there somewhere, and then it goes back to normal, and the guy's just staring at the camera.
Does that a lot.
Steve uses that one again and again, and does such. It's just really great storytelling.
If you want one, or if you want to, if you're a cartoonist and you want to participate in Steve Willis's jam, write to him. I will have his address and everything in the description. You write to him and tell him, and maybe send him some of your work or whatever. And he might send you back this. He trades with people. So
and Jason Degroot's doing some jams out there too.
Yeah.
I told him I'm going to. He's got the Scrooge jam going on.
Yeah, Jason Degroot is doing the original Christmas Carol with Dickens' original script wording.
A lot of people are going to be involved in that, and I asked him, "How are you going to have this done by Christmas?" And he thinks it may carry on to maybe the next Christmas. It's a long-range project, so it's going to take a while.
I didn't hear that. It could be. Yeah, I don't know how many pages it's going to involve. I know I did 2 pages, but there's only a few lines on each page. You know, so
he's got he's got jams going. Steve Willis has a jam going, and Small Press lives. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. You guys are being more creative, and you just never run out of ideas. Never run out of steam.
Yeah, right.
Never give up. Never surrender. Keep being funny as heck, or just make great comics. That's okay.
Yeah. Always need some great.
I'm working on a new one. Mantra. I hope to have it out by Christmas. I just got a front cover, full color front cover from Keith Newsom that'll blow your doors off. if I could say so myself, I asked him could he do a cover, and he knocked it out like in record time. And like in 2 hours, all of a sudden I had this beautiful science fiction cover. So that's coming up.
Great.
What are you working on? You're working on some stuff, right?
I'm working on Space Falcon #2.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm on page 10 now. Very slow, but I am working on it.
You're making progress.
Yeah. And I got some other things I'm fiddling with, but I like. Well, you know what I'm doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I bought this book because I love this kind of stuff. 200 drawing prompts. Okay. So then I'm started drawing some of the prompts that are in here, and like this one is Your Reflection is the name of this, and that's kind of what I did there for Your Reflection. And things like that. And I enjoy doing it because it's a challenge, you know.
What is this now? Is this something you created?
Or buy at store, 200 drawing prompts. And
does it leave like one page blank?
Yeah, yeah.
It is a page blank for you to draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there. So you draw whatever that says. Whatever that says, you draw.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know,
and if you'd like to see this one, this is 712 more things to draw, and I have completed that one.
Okay.
Every page. Every page.
Is some of that stuff going to be published?
I think I have published it on Facebook, some of this. But anyway, yeah. So did something on every page for whatever it says. This one says Amir. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Awesome. I was putting together this new mantra, so I was working on it. And, you had a story in the last issue of Mantra.
Yeah.
Long story. And you're going to have a short story in this new issue. But what do you see the letter column? Because there's comments from Larry Blake, the great Larry Blake. And you're mentioned in there's 3 letters in there. But I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you'll get your copy soon. And
great.
People had a lot of good stuff to say about your work.
Oh, great.
So
what we didn't talk about was T-Frags.
Now there's a cover by
Look at the cover.
Keith Newsom. That's another Keith Newsom cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where's my copy? Right back here. But this is the new one. I didn't publish this issue. Not Jason Degroot. He used to be in the UFO, but not right now. Rob Imes published this.
Yeah.
And did a terrific job. And Keith Newsom did both covers.
Look at that.
Yeah. He's not even a member of the UFO, but the covers were so good I had to use them.
Yeah.
And
you know what? It's the reviews of all the comics, basically, right, Steve?
The members have columns. Here's some work by Rob Cooley, some artwork.
Yeah.
There's artwork and columns from
Carrales, some artwork.
Joe Ellie Carrales. He's in there. And so it's not just artwork, but it's columns, reviews of UFO zines, and also some reviews of non-member zines as well. In fact, somebody here, his name is Verl Bond, reviews Space Falcon #1.
Yeah, that was really nice. That was a big surprise to me when I saw that.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice because I'm not a member. And he said, well, he's not a member, but I like the comic. I'm going to review it anyway. Which it was really nice. Really great. Yeah.
The characters' names alone are hilarious. Larned's art style really adds to one's enjoyment of his comic. I highly recommended this fun comic book. Great job, Larned. You still have copies of that one available?
Still do. Yep.
You guys should order that one. You should put your information down there.
I'll put the information down there. Yeah, I'll put that in.
And you see what happens, Larned. It pays to hang out with me. You get all these.
You get free advertising, which is really good. I am the worst at promoting anything.
Yeah,
especially my own work. Terrible.
Well, I got to hand it to Rob Imes did this because, for one thing, I went to the Philippines and he worked on this while I was in the Philippines. He's the emergency chairman of the group. So if I'm not available as UFO chairman, then the emergency chairman takes over. We're discussing plans for the next year and how we're going to work out. But I can tell you that both Rob and I will both have a big part in the UFO. The UFO is not going anywhere.
Good. Good.
I needed a break. I need some time off, but we're working this out. We're working this out for 2025. It's been around 50 some years. We got to make it to 100 years, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'll be there. I will publish that 100 year issue, commemorative of issue.
It's going to be a zombie issue, is it?
I guess, yeah. The Living Dead. Yeah. But we're gonna. Well, that was 277. So the next one's 278. I've already started working on that, and I plan to publish number 300. So that's kind of important. Me.
Our next show will be number 80. How about that?
Number 80. So we're 20 away from a landmark.
Yeah, and if you want your comic in episode 80, you send Steve a copy and me a copy. And we will promote it the best we can.
Absolutely. Right, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Okay. I think we have done it for another episode. So I'm going to say goodbye. And whoops, Steve disappeared.
I want to talk some more about Tom McDonald. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. So, sometimes I get a little weird, Yeah.
All right, we're going to say goodbye.
When Larned turns on the camera, he never really knows what I'm going to do. And so
so it's a major surprise to me most of the time. And so, I pretty much hide my face and get out of the way.
Yeah, just hide somewhere. Pretend like you're not part of it because it's going bad. I don't
let him hang there by himself. All right, we'll see you. Goodbye.
Adios.
Hi, and welcome to episode 80 of Talking Small Press Comics.
80?
Steve Peter right there, and me, Larned Justin. So we're here for our 80th episode. How about that?
That's incredible. That's
I
hard
know.
to believe.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So, and unfortunately, we only have 3 comic books to look at, but hoping we would have had a little more. But anyway,
those are good comics. But you folks out there, if you're watching, and send us your books. Some of you haven't ever sent us anything, and a lot of times we find ourselves reviewing the same stuff from the same people over and over again. And if you guys want your comics and your zines reviewed on the show, send a copy to me and a copy to Larned. Some of you, we will reimburse you for that. Sometimes we order books, comics just to review. But in order for the show to continue, as far as a review show, we also do interviews. But we need something to review. So if you're out there and you're mailing your stuff out, and
it's not actually a review; it's more of a promotion. We like to promote your comics, so
right?
We don't critique them. We look at them and show the audience what's inside a little bit and talk a little bit about it, but we do not critique them. So we want to promote small press comics.
We discuss your comics, and we want to promote small press, promote what you're doing, and
we may ask questions about the story and things like that, but that's fun. So anyway, okay. So are we ready or what?
Almost ready. Is that a Sasquatch?
Huh?
A Sasquatch behind you. What's that behind you, Larned? I'm not going to do anything funny on this show.
Well, I didn't really see anything back there. Did you?
I thought I saw something, Larned.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to stay true. I promise you I wouldn't do anything weird or funny or bizarre at the beginning of the show, and so I want to keep with that promise. I sure thought I saw something back there.
Yeah, well, I don't see it. So anyway, let's go ahead. What do you got first?
We got from Ken Leach.
Oh yeah,
and this is Altitude from Ken Leach.
This is his. I would say it's his newsletter, don't you think?
Well, it's an apozine for the alpha omega.
For that. Okay. I didn't. Okay.
It's a Christian comics appa, and Ken has done a lot of these.
Yeah.
So, and I think he apologized for the photocopying on this for some reason.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. He talks about it had a lot of problems, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. It looked fine to me.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong either. There's a lot of good stuff in here. He has he talks about some stuff going on with his family, and at the end of September, they were in Surfside, South Carolina. He and his family, and apparently there was a big storm. There've been a lot of hurricanes this past year. There's a lot of stuff that was going on, and he talks about on this page. Yeah, no, it's this page. But he talks about what was going on and how he and his family they couldn't even get gas. They went to several gas stations trying to get home.
Gas. Yeah, it was bad.
They were all out of gas.
Yeah, couldn't get it.
They didn't have any gas because everybody was panicking.
Yeah,
and I saw a lot of that going on down here. See, they were headed to Asheville. Is that right? Asheville, West Virginia to Kentucky. Where exactly does he live? Mishawaka, Indiana. So they were down south.
They were on a trip, yes. And they picked the wrong time to go.
And so Ken he tells the story, and there's some artwork. He talks about how he discovered melatonin. And he helps him sleep like a baby and look like Nosferatu.
You can see him sleeping there. He looks pretty well rested to me.
That looks like a vampire to me.
Then he's got Kim's corner, where Larry Blake, she sends in some of Larry Blake's stuff.
Yeah, Kim was very, very close to our pal, our dear departed friend, Larry Blake.
Right.
And
so, he always, like Kiss, he always does Kiss. Kiss
and there's pictures. I think some of these are of Kim and Larry.
Yeah, I think so. I think these are, well, not that one. This one. Down here, I think that's her and him right there.
Yeah, that's them. Now, I had a big folder, after Larry passed away. She sent out a lot of stuff. Well, some of it was published, some of it was unpublished. I have a big folder just of stuff that she sent me. I mean, look how thick all of this stuff, stuff that Larry did. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
As I said, some of this has never been published. Artwork by Larry Blake. Here's a nice one right here.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Night Star.
Yeah.
And Larry Blake and whoever that is. But,
Kevin Cool. I think that's Kevin Cool.
Kevin Cool. That's Kevin Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And just stuff. Here's one. It says Himmerline and Blake. I think maybe she drew this one and he inked it.
She might have drawn that, yeah.
Sort of a mermaid type individual there. Just a lot of stuff.
But here's some more stuff that she sent Ken. Here. And you can see Larry had this style, he could do this kind of thing or he could do the more serious drawings. Pretty cool. Yeah. And then here was some pictures of him and her, drawings of him and her right here.
But Larry and I believe Kim too were also in the Alpha Omega group, the APA, and so that's one reason that he's mentioning. Now there's some there's some pictures of Kim and his family. Not Kim, but
he always in this usually includes something like this in this publication. This is nice full color pictures of.
Let's see if I can find Ken.
Well, let's see. I think I see
him right here.
Right there where you're pointing. There he is.
That's him.
Yeah.
And I still want to know if he was at Chicago in 1986 because I've seen Matt Fiesel's a video of that convention.
Yeah, you mentioned it before.
Exactly like Ken Leach. And I think it was him. I think he was there. So So Ken, if you're watching this, were you in Chicago? The Chicago Comic Convention in 1986? Sure looks that way to me.
Then he reviews here of some comics. I guess that's part of being in the group. And then I'm going to have to take a pill, folks. I need a mucus pill. I have mucus pills here, mucus relief. No. If you have congestion, you have to take a mucus pill. It's Mucinex is essentially what it is. There's a picture of Ken right there. Yep. And then he's soliciting submissions for his next publication. We're getting Alien Phology. So he's doing something for that. He's looking for contributions for his, the next publication, which is all about aliens. Yeah, and that would be fun to draw. So I'm going to do something for that. So anyway, he has a thing here where he talks about the passing of Mort Drucker of Mad Magazine. That's what I was saying. One of the greats as far as caricaturing goes. So on that page, he talks about Alan Freeman's work here. And some of this is in full color. This is just an apozine. This is but I don't know if you can buy it. You can contact him. We'll have his contact information below. And here's mailing comments. Plenty of stuff there to read. So it's a nice. He always does a nice job with this. He always sends one to us. So nice one, Ken. We're both going to try to contribute to his next zine. Yeah, the alien thing. So I'm going to do something. All right, what do we got next? Well, we got from Jim Main, Grim Jim. Oh yeah, Tales from Greek Mythology. Very interesting. Color. Beautifully produced. Beautiful color cover. My goodness. And that cover is by John Lambert, by the way. Yeah, that's John Lambert. Who did that back cover? That back cover is awesome. Not only because it's kind of sexy, but also because it's awesome, Man. Yeah. That really looks like a painting. That is J. Moores. Yeah, Moors. I don't know what medium, but that is definitely paint, I think. Yeah. If it isn't, it got me gorgeous. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. So on the inside, there's a lot of stuff. He mentions Mike Maloney, an artist who passed away not too long ago. Yeah, right here. Talk about it here. On his editorial pages, a couple of drawings of Cerberus and Echidna, but these are from Mike Maloney, and there's Jim's editorial. Mm-hmm. Jason and the Argonauts, right there. Viral Bond art and written by Viral Bond and inked by Tom Ahern. And this is like a direct sequel. Yeah. It reads like a direct sequel to the Ray Harryhausen film, Jason and the Argonauts. And it picks up right where that left off. What I got out of that was basically a love story. Yeah. The art is great. Yeah. I don't want to give the relationship away, but I mean, it's just very well done. Look at that art. Jason and what's her name? Medea. Yeah, Medea. Jason and Medea. Yeah. And then there's another relationship. Look at the artwork. It's so good. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Tom Ahern really adds an element. He really fills out Verl's artwork. Verl's artwork is great on its own. It has a realistic element to it. But Tom adds depth and a little more darkness. But he really turned the two together are incomparable. It's just a perfect combination. Really cool. Yep. Oh, you're right. Look at that. Look at that. Very nice. One of his crew members wanders off into the forest
His name is Eros, and he encounters this beautiful lady.
It's a woman, because that's what's on this island is these women who are actually, they think they're warriors, don't they, at first?
Yeah, I think she's training to be a warrior.
Yeah, and he meets this girl,
Talia.
And boom, I think they hit it off right away.
Boom. Seemed like, yeah, I agree. Looks like this worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool story.
I'm sorry about my voice, folks. I've got something in my throat.
And then there's a completely written piece here. Michael Housel.
Michael Housel.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Illustrations from Keith Newsom. This is an interesting story.
Yeah.
It's an interesting text fiction story.
Yeah.
We have a young man, apparent young man, Demetrios, who has found the head of Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
Medusa, whose head was severed by, I believe, Perseus. If you read through the story,
I don't know, but there she is.
Right in the Greek mythology.
While she still has her head.
Yeah. Well, as the story goes along, she sort of regains her head. I don't want to give away the ending.
I know. That's why I don't want to say too much about it.
But Demetrios,
you really should get this to read it. You really need to read it. I don't want to give it all away. But,
Demetrios is not whom he seems to be.
Yeah.
As you find out towards the end, there's a lot of enchantment going on. Orados is the protagonist of this story, but Orados doesn't have a chance against a reborn Medusa. So, and this is stuff, I mean, it continues where Greek mythology ends. That's interesting about a couple of stories in this book, where the stories end in Greek mythology. These stories pick up on that, and they bring them into the present time.
Right.
You know, what happened? Because you always wonder what happened next. Was that the end? Okay, Medusa's head was severed. Okay, was that the end? Maybe not. Maybe not.
And then after it goes into a number of full-page illustrations of Greek mythology, gods, and
you get a lot of stuff here. A lot of really nice illustrations.
Number of pages. The rest of the book is all these illustrations by great cartoonists and artists. I think this one, some of them tell you the name of the Greek god, some don't, but I'm looking at this one and I'm sure, is that Mercury? Would that be Mercury?
I see Talos on the left.
Yeah, but I think that's Mercury.
Looks like Mercury to me. That looks like Mercury to me.
I was trying to guess the ones they're in the table of contents, but I was trying to guess.
If you go to the beginning, you see Cliff Karowski, Rick McCollum, Doc Butcher, George Lane III, John Lambert, Tony Lorenz, and on and on and on. Lots of stuff. Rusty Gilligan, lots of great artists that were involved in this issue. From Jim Main. Now, Jim's always been known for publishing quality material.
Yeah. And I think that's Pam. That's my guess. Is that Pam?
That looks like Pan.
Yeah.
That would be Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, Larned, you know your Greek mythology.
Well, I've seen he's always got the devil head and the playing the whatever that is.
Yeah. This one from Rick McCollum. Why can't I get home? Odysseus is saying, "Why can't I get home?"
Yeah.
In that picture, and you see this giant statue head overhead. Over there, a lot of stuff here. Yeah. Those were. Oh yeah, that's pretty ghostly. That's the River Styx.
John Lambert. Yeah.
John Lambert. Yeah.
Very cool.
So a lot of stuff in here, a lot of really nice stuff, beautiful artwork. If you just want to, I'll tell you what, for me, what really sold it for me was the story by Verl, the story that Verl Bond did.
Oh yeah. That was great.
That's just really great,
that's
beautiful
really
work. Yeah. Really stunning. And the cover, of course.
Yeah. And I think this is $5.99. $5.99.
That's a steal.
Or
Yes, it's $5.99.
You could round that up to $6 if that you want.
Excuse me. There's a drawing by Steve Shipley in full color on the inside cover.
Yeah,
That's
the
nice.
inside cover. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What the production is superb here.
Yeah.
Got to hand it to Jim. Jim, you did a great job.
And this is 36 pages, by the way. So
yeah,
36 pages, $5.99 from Jim Main. We'll have all that information down below.
That is a steal.
Mm-hmm.
It does say $7.99 by mail in the U.S. and Canada, so a couple of dollars for postage.
Okay,
still well worth it.
If you run into Jim personally, he'll sell it to you for $5.99.
Right. Try to find Jim. Try to find Jim at a convention or a flea market or wherever he's selling his stuff.
Yeah, save yourself a couple
gets
bucks.
around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Next.
Oh yeah, we got the Improbable Kitty is what I call it,
and the Wonder Kitty from Joe Carrales.
I think this is number 12. Number 12.
Number 12. And the cover here is
Shane Luttrell.
Huh?
Shane Luttrell. Isn't it?
What?
The cover is by Shane Luttrell.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shane does the cover. Very nice cover. Look at that.
I don't know who did the logo. Shane might have done that too.
Very cool.
It's a big title, The Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty. So I always usually call it Improbable Kitty. That's the way I remember.
Improbable Kitty, yes.
Improbable Kitty.
Right. And this is called the Candidate Calamity. And here's something that I have to question. I'm a little confused on right away here. This takes place it's the 2012 election, and this story takes place kind of in 2011. And I'm trying to figure out, the girls look exactly the same as they do now. So in 2011, they would have been about 13 years old, maybe. I don't know how that works.
I think I saw.
I didn't see any time travel. I kept looking, but I don't. Unless I missed it, I didn't see any time travel. But they look exactly the same as they do now.
Yeah. So it would be interesting if Joe L. Carrales could give us a timeline. All of their stories take place in that era, and we haven't seen the more modern stories yet. Or what is the timeline here? So
that's what I was wondering. I didn't know how that worked. But this was published earlier in Yeet, I believe.
In black and white. It didn't look nearly as nice.
Right. Yeah.
But Joe has revamped it. Excuse me. Added extra pages.
Yeah, he's added stuff to it. I don't remember seeing. I might have seen the original, but this has more to it.
There are added pages. And he revamped some of the artwork and some of the dialogue. It looks like Joe does all the artwork here.
Yeah.
2012, we had Obama running against Mitt Romney. We know who won that one.
You got it right there.
About Romney.
You can see Obama and Romney.
But apparently there was a third-party candidate that we never heard of, but Joe has a story about this third-party candidate who was Adam S. Bushrod. Now, Bushrod goes on a train ride across the country to promote his candidacy. Yeah. And and so a lot of journalists attended. We have Peggy O'Shea here, who has kind of a bad attitude. I think it's Peggy O'Shea.
There's the train that you can see there in the train.
And Nico and Marie, the our heroes, the Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty, they managed to escape the mailroom where they're working in the mailroom, and they managed to get on board the train.
Story here. They get a chance to scoop the story.
Yeah. So what people don't know is that nefarious forces, we have Dr. P.O here, have implanted something in the brain of the candidate, the third party candidate, and he has become like evil, and he's at their bidding, and their bidding indicates that a lot of destruction, a lot of stuff, and they're doing everything they can to disrupt the candidacy, disrupt the election, possibly blow up the train, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So there's a lot of characters running in and out.
As with all Joe's comics, there is a lot to read, a lot to keep up with. You could make notes to keep up with some of the things that go on. But
yeah. Now you might remember Larned did his character sheet for the last comic.
Yeah.
Well, which is cool. Very cool. But this one has an entirely different set of characters.
Different people. Yeah.
It's
the girls are the same.
So
the girls are the same. The other characters are all new and different. And,
we have the Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty. Other than that, General Carrales, he does appear in here.
A little bit,
story, just for a bit.
The rest, I think, are all new.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those characters are in.
So now you have to do another character sheet, a whole new a whole new character sheet. Joe has a lot of characters.
Does the candidate train. Look at that. I'm sure you've seen those kind of pictures from those days.
And you see where Nico has transformed herself into a kitty to go through the train to see where these nefarious elements are located. She's not entirely successful at that, and they end up taking over the train.
See, that's what she looks like when she transfers into a kitty, right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her. Although she can transform into a sort of a lioness type kitty as well. But the bad guys, let me see. The train is supposed to stop somewhere. I read this a few days ago, but the train is supposed to stop somewhere. But if it does, something terrible is going to happen because this thing that has been implanted into the mind of the third-party candidate is supposed to be implanted into a lot of other people. A chip, some kind of a chip is supposed to be implanted into their minds when they stop. But the Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty keep the train going. They don't allow it to stop. And
there is a back page here, and I'm not going to give it away.
Barrel right through. Right through.
Yeah.
So
then he goes.
Marie comes to terms with her powers in a lot of this. She's very strong. She mentions Ken Bailey's The Energy Girl is mentioned because she's using her fist to knock down doors and do things. And she says, well, I kind of owe that to the Energy Girl. A little tip of the hat to Ken Bailey. In the end, I'm not giving away.
Don't give it away. No.
The story's been told before anyway. Well, the bad guys are thwarted. Good does win out over evil. Yeah. And Bushrod, the third-party candidate.
There's the Lion Gazette. That's the Lion Gazette that they work for. Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway, then it goes on. He has the People's Journal here.
Oh yeah.
And in the People's Journal, we have this fantastic interview with Larned Justin.
Oh, I heard of that guy.
Yeah.
Larned Justin.
Yeah,
he says. Yeah, they interview Larned Justin, who's the co-host of YouTube's Talking Small Press Comics. Larned says, I was never a mainstream superhero comics fan.
True.
So I really have no opinion on the current state of mainstream comics.
Yeah.
But he mentions his other influences.
Yeah.
Graphics, Dawn and Quarterly, and Mad Magazine, of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's your biggest influence, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mad Magazine is your biggest influence. But it's interesting. You are influenced by Mad Magazine, but you don't do anything exactly like anyone in Mad Magazine. You have your own style.
There's something kind of interesting. I don't know how many people know the group Poco. This guy I knew when I was a kid. That's Paul Cotton.
Paul Cotton. Now, you know what, Larned? I know that song. In the heart of the night.
In the heart of the night.
Southern rain.
Yeah.
The song that he wrote. I think I saw him with Poco in the late 1980s.
You might have.
My wife at the time we went to a big stadium concert in Raleigh, North Carolina, with about 40,000 people. I think it was that particular version of Poco. They had a lot of membership changes over here. But I think I probably saw him.
For really basically his life. He died in 2021. But I knew, I'm not going to say he was one of my best friends or anything like that. I did know him because my friends had a band. I was good friends with the drummer, and Paul was in the band. So, I knew him from that.
Yeah.
And,
I've heard of Paul.
He went out to California and finally joined Poco and stayed with them forever.
That was a good band. That was a good band.
Poco was great. Yeah.
I followed them from very early, some of their very early stuff. Richie Fury was in the band, and Jim Messina.
Richie Fury started Poco.
Fury, right. Jim Messina, who later went on to be part of Loggins and Messina.
Right.
He was in the early version of Poco. And I remember Paul Cotton. I remember the name and that song. That's a beautiful song. And it sounds...
That was one of their biggest hits. Yeah.
It was always interesting to me that they had a lot of membership changes, but they always sounded like Poco.
Yeah.
It was a good band. Yeah.
I was so surprised that Paul wrote that song and sung it, because when I knew him, he was very quiet. He hardly ever said anything. I didn't know he could sing at all.
I think that's one of their best songs. Maybe one of their signature songs. In the Heart of the Night. That's a terrific song.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got other stuff here. Kurt Wilkin does a couple of pages about Nico, the Wonder Kitty.
His version of the Wonder Kitty there. Yeah.
But here she transforms herself into alien felines, alien cats, including a robot cat. I think that one there is a robot cat. The Sphinx, a Sphinx-like cat, and other versions. And you see, this is an entirely different version of a Nico. Well drawn and very funny. Yeah. So, Anyway. This is redone from the original version. I remember seeing the original version, and I got to tell you, we are so spoiled because Joe's comics are always in color, and they're always so detailed and everything. We're so spoiled. I remember when I saw the original version of this in Yeet Presents, and it was in black and white. I was kind of disappointed. I was like, "Oh man, no, Nico and the Wonder Kitty are supposed to be in color. They're always in color." That's the only story I saw that was in black and white. But I'm glad that he redid it, and made it vastly better. The original story was fine, but this is even better. Yeah, and it's well worth owning.
And let me see here. This is $10. And I believe it has a page count. Let me just look real quick. It is 36 pages.
36? Well, with the cover, and the back cover is 38.
Well, yeah. Full color. And my comic book size. Maybe just a hair bigger than comic book size.
Yeah.
But so it's, Nice.
Yeah. So, and it's got a UFO symbol right there in the middle, right there.
Oh my gosh.
The UFO symbol. So this is a United Transit Organization publication, folks.
Yeah.
I'm glad my voice seems to have cleared up by the end of the show.
At the end of the show, you can talk.
In the early part of the show, so finally it clears up. Well, what can I say? But that's 3 of the books that we've received recently.
Yeah. I will say we could do more if we had them.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's been a couple of weeks since our last show. We would have done one a week ago, but I fell off my bicycle, and even like you see my glass on. This is an old. These are like John Lennon, John Denver type glasses. This is not my usual glasses. I've got a new prescription of glasses that's going to be arriving this week. But when I fell off my bicycle a couple of weeks ago, and I lost a pair of glasses. I can't find them to save my life.
Oh, you never found them. Oh,
I didn't find them, but I have several other prescriptions. This is like 3 prescriptions ago, and I look okay, and I can see pretty well out of them. I can see Larned there. Larned, you look darn handsome. You look great.
Well, always. Yeah.
That goes without saying, right?
Right.
But I had this huge black eye. And I'm going to show you this picture, and this is from a week after, or a few days after the accident. Look at this guy. That's why we didn't do a show last week.
You didn't want to be on the show with a big black eye.
Yeah, I was a mess. It was worse than this a few days earlier.
Yeah.
When you get a little older and you fall down, you hit your face on the sidewalk. Well, I can tell you, you don't get up, looking like Tom Cruise. You get up looking like the Phantom of the Opera. And so,
yeah.
But I survived, and here we are.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing more shows.
Yeah.
Soon. But we need you guys to send us your comics, send us your books. As I said,
and also, if you want to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so that you know when we're doing a show. And as you know, they're not, you would never know we're doing one if you're not subscribed. So you want to do that. And I'll have all the information that we talked about down in the description of the video. So that will all be taken care of. And
so this show is a little bit shorter than usual.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a lot to review. So that's why, if you guys would send us your book, especially if we've never reviewed your comics or your zines on the show, send us a copy. Send one to me, one to Larned. We will review it if you like, because I know this costs money. If you want, we will return your book. We can review them and return them to you. I'm just saying. But we want to keep supporting small press. It's what we do. We're not in this for the money. We're not in this for the fame. Although we are a couple of famous guys for sure, But we don't need the additional fame. But we do enjoy doing this show. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. All right, we're going to end it here, and we will see you next time. So,
okay. Adios.
Bye. Well, hello, and welcome to episode 81 of Talking Small Press Comics with Steve Keeter, myself, Larned Justin, and this is our Christmas edition.
I know, I failed, right?
Well, I didn't a Christmas tree in the background there.
I do have a Christmas tree. Let me see if I can move that over. Christmas tree right there.
There you go.
Little Christmas
there it
tree
is. So
on top of my microwave.
Yeah.
In my room.
So we've got everything all decorated up. My head and Steve's microwave. So Anyway, we got quite a few comics to do today.
Microwave fried brains, and that's what we're presenting you with today.
Oh,
just in time for Christmas.
All right, let's see what we got first, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I got something wonderful from Larry Johnson. Yeah, I like that. I like what you got there. You got this new.
Yeah, a little new setup so we can see the cover while we're talking. And this is Tales of the Broken Bee. Now, the problem is I can't look inside the comic. You're going to have to do that part. And there's the back. The fun part. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same picture on the back.
Issue.
Yeah.
Another excellent issue. Here we go.
I mean, look what Larry does. He draws an entire page for 2 word balloons. You know, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
But it has to do with the Broken Bee Ranch, and this is issue number 6. So we already pretty familiar with these cowboys and the characters in here. And here we have a situation where a group of gypsies happen upon the ranch. They come down from the mountains, and some pretty wild stuff happens after that. It's
well, with Larry, you know, his stories are excellent, and there's always a twist, and there's always something special about his comics.
Yeah, and gypsies have appeared over the years many times in Larry's comics. So he has a fascination with gypsies and that entire culture.
There's a character down in the left panel there that you have to be aware of. That's all I'm going to say about him. But you got to be aware of that guy.
The guy. Who's the most sneaky looking guy on this page? This guy looks pretty sneaky.
Yeah.
I would keep an eye out for that guy there.
Yeah, you have to keep an eye out on that guy.
Yeah, keep an eye on that guy. They're actually looking for a guy who did something sinister. But he's a long-haired guy. But this guy has short hair, but that doesn't seem to matter too much. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We got this beautiful young gypsy lady, and she introduces herself to Sam Gladstone, who is he's the head of the ranch.
Yeah, that's the Broken Bee Ranch hand. That's the
Broken
head
Bee
of
Ranch.
Not the hand, but the head of it. Yeah.
What do you call that?
The foreman or the something.
Yeah, the ranch foreman.
Here's a splash page in the middle. I'll just show that to you. But, I mean, Larry, look at the work he puts in for these large pages with all these figures and everything in them.
Yeah, the artwork is beautiful. And, I mean, there's a moment in the middle where this young, beautiful gypsy lady is at a stream somewhere, and she's washing her clothes. And there's almost a moment of nudity. Not nudity,
not quite.
You know, but you know, suggestive.
Look who's in the bushes.
And Sam Gladstone's there looking. You know, he sees her. And, you know, I don't blame him. You know, if I saw, you know, I would look too.
But on the left, look who's in that bush over there on the left. There.
Yeah. And there's the bad guy again. So the bad guy's over here, and he's watching.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so he's a troublemaker, and he's done some stuff in the past. I believe the gypsies are looking for this guy. He vanished up into the mountains, and goodness, he did something terrible before. I think he killed someone else. I have to go back and look. I read this a few days ago. But the artwork is wonderful. Larry's artwork is just wonderful.
Always look at that. Yeah. Yep.
It's just amazing, especially after all these years. I've been following Larry since, good grief, 1973.
Wow. Yeah.
I can tell you, he's only gotten better and better and better.
Yeah.
And it's the stories that he does. They're so epic. They're so epic, and the artwork is. And now he's doing full color comics, and he has been for several years.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't recommend these enough. But there's a lot of drama in this story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually, the bad guy does succumb to justice. Eventually, it is revealed. Without revealing everything here, but I'm saying
you can't tell it all. But the gypsies kind of, they have a bad reputation for stealing and things like that, and they're trying to live that down a little bit. And
Larry's artwork is just so wonderful. It's cartoony, but it's also I don't know. There's something. There's a realism in there, but I think the realism is more in the storytelling, and the artwork is somewhat cartoony. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Larry is an excellent storyteller, and he comes up with some great stories. Yeah.
Yeah. He makes you feel for the people.
Yeah. That's really a neat issue. How many pages is that? Does it say?
It's at least the story itself is 29 pages, and then there's a few other pages, so it's probably about 30 some odd pages.
And the price is $6.50 on that,
which is a steal. It's a great price.
Yeah,
this is a fine comic book.
So I don't know how you can go wrong. That's a good one. That's a good one to start off the show with. Yeah,
and it's a UFO zine. For fans of the United Fanzine organization, just letting you know, I'm still the chairman, and the UFO continues into the year 2025. There's going to be some changes in that group. Just to mention it really quickly, Rob Imes is going to be helping me out during the next year because I'm rather busy with a relationship that I have, and I'm trying to bring my fiance over from from the Philippines. I went to the Philippines several months ago, and we spent a lot of time together. And now I'm engaged. And so I'll be busy with stuff related to that. But I am still going to be chairman of the UFO, and I got a new UFO newsletter coming out early in January. I'm also working on a new issue of my comic Mantra, which looks like it's going to be just after the UFO newsletter. And how do we get into that? I don't know, but you did. So let's move on to. I mentioned the UFO. The UFO continues. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. After 50-some years, this group is still around. A group of people who publish comics and. All right, what do we got next? I got another UFO zine. See, I'm telling you, this group is a group of people who publish small press comics, and we got Strange Times number 6 from Tom Fellrath. And this is a guy. I've mentioned this before, but he vanished from small press 30 years or so ago, and then he's not there. Oh, okay. Well, here I am. I have a hat now. Oh, where'd that come from? Are you still recording? How do I look? 1 second you did not have a hat. Now you do have a hat. How'd that work? Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello is the shampoo that glorifies your hair. Remember that? It was an old commercial. Yeah. Remember Halo shampoo? Getting back to Strange Times, this entire issue is devoted to Keith Newsom. Keith Newsom. And he is one excellent cartoonist, artist, whatever. That's right. And here's a picture of, we've seen it in person. We saw him at Case a couple of years ago. I mean, he looks exactly like this. A darn good looking guy. Good looking guy. Wow, he's looking directly at you. It's kind of a, in that picture, he's staring right at you. Yeah, not an intense look. Kind of an interesting. He's an interesting individual. He has an interesting face. Oh, he does some neat work. Yeah. Yeah. And He does a lot of stuff. He doesn't just do comics, but he does comics.
No, he does all kinds of things.
And this issue, here's a self-caricature that he did. It looks exactly like him. Keith, that looks just like him. I know you're watching this video. It looks exactly like you. And here he is as a baby.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's him. Yeah.
I guess. I noticed the baby does not have a goatee, but other than that, it looks like him.
Without the goatee, we would certainly have recognized this individual here. But Keith, this entire issue, this is brilliant from Tom Fellrath.
Tom Fellrath.
It's an examination of Keith, his entire life, and all the stuff he does.
All the artwork in there is Keith's. There's photos like that.
Bass. Yeah, he used to be in a band. And where is he? He's here. There he is. Many years ago, when he played bass in a band. But this goes on because he's not just, it goes through his entire life. He's not just a musician. He is a mighty musician, as you can see in this picture. He also does comics. He does face painting. When you get into that stuff, he creates masks and stuff. Some of the face and body painting as well.
Yeah.
Here he is by Keith Newsom, How to Paint a Zombie.
There you go. There's some face painting he did. Look at that. Look at that.
But
pretty cool.
That's incredible. One step at a time. This is how you do it, folks. If you want to be a zombie,
that's how you do it.
And he's done body painting. I mean, entire body painting.
Yeah.
And we see him here, right here.
Yeah, there he is working.
Yeah, he's at work there. And there's
a
lot of great stuff.
And his artwork on paper is fantastic.
Yeah. Face painting. He creates masks. Let's see. Here's a couple of masks that he did. Basically, we're talking about undead creatures. We're talking about zombie masks and zombie painting and stuff like that. That's mostly what he enjoys.
And look at the monsters and dragons he did here. Look at this. Is that cool?
He always does great dragons. Yeah, his dragons are superb.
Fantastic. Yeah, look at that.
Superb. And I think this is Keith himself as a zombie.
So part-time zombie, part-time cartoonist. Yeah. There he is behind the horse.
I think that's him there too. But he's an unbelievably talented individual. And then you get into his comics.
Yeah.
And let's see, airbrush and Declo paint. There's some paintings that he's done. And some of these are enormous. I believe that let's see, 9 feet. Okay, the split clown face, it says top left here, is 9 feet wide, 9 feet by 8 feet wide. That would be this one.
Yeah. Wow. So 9 by 8 feet.
Stuff.
That's awesome.
But the most impressive, he's got an airbrush creation, the skull wall at Carnage Haunted House, 10 feet high. Now check this out, 10 feet high and 100 feet long, currently classified as one of the biggest haunted murals in the world.
Wow.
And that is this one.
That is something.
And Keith did that.
Yeah. Whew. I wonder how long that took. Wowie.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's so talented, and he's so amazingly talented, but he's really a nice guy. If you meet him in person, he's super nice. He's not
nice to us.
egotistical and all. You go back, if you look through this, and I got to hand it to Tom Fellrath. I don't know how Tom did this. He must have had long interviews with Keith, but
he must have taken quite a while to get this together. Yeah.
Even some early comic book, small press work from Keith. Superhero work in here.
Yeah, and you can see what I'm showing down here. Some of his other superhero type things that he's done down here. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. And it's over the years.
It's not just one style. He seems to be able to change his style based on what he's doing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I guess you're looking at some of this kind of stuff. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
So,
and this is just a small portion of what's in the book. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So, stuff to read, stuff to look at.
Amazing. Again, you mentioned the dragons. When we saw him at Space, I saw some of the posters that he did.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves to do dragons.
Yeah.
And wow, and he sells these prints, and they're just incredible. So this issue focuses on him. It also talks about, he also goes through about his life and the tragedies in his life.
Now look at what I'm showing. There's a progression of where he starts out drawing this fantasy character on the left, and then the finished page on the right. Look at that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I have to get used to, now that you have this technology, I have to get used to looking down there, because I'm looking over at you, and now I see, this is great. This is the first time we've used this. Larned has changed the course of our show. He's changed the aesthetic, everything. It's just okay, but I like it. Yeah, and I saw that page, and how it goes from one step to the other, to the other. And that's
I don't want to give everything away, because the book this is only a small portion of what's in that book. So I really don't want to give it all away, but we do want to promote it.
And there's poetry in here, and I believe, I guess the backgrounds here are by Keith. But he's a brilliant writer, a brilliant poet. There's been some tragedy in his life regarding his son, and he had a tumor and this and that. And he talks about that. It's all very moving. But man, this is, oh my gosh! And here he is. Here's showing off the bases he's played over the years.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, a ton of them. Yeah.
I had a bass that looked similar to this one. But it was an Ibanez. What is that? Is that an Ibanez? No, it's a Washington. I had an Ibanez. Looked kind of similar. I wasn't that good a bass player. I'm not nowhere near as good as Keith. And here he is, showing off his equipment and looking very serious about it. This is my equipment. This is it. Don't mess with me.
Don't touch. Yeah.
Don't touch.
Look at the painting I'm showing now. You just saw how realistic the dragons look, but then he can switch to do something like that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And that looks like very tragic.
Yeah, but a completely different style.
Because on the other page next to that, it says, sometimes it's the look in someone's eyes as they watch your child be led back in a wheelchair, the pain they feel, and also the belief in something higher, that everything will turn out okay in the long run.
Yeah.
And then you have that tragic picture, the picture you're showing. And but one page after another. This is, I got to hand it to both Keith and to Tom Fellrath. This is one of the finest things I've seen in a long time. This is one of the finest small press publications or independent or whatever. This is a great book, and I recommend this to anyone. No kidding. I don't know what the price is. I think it's $150.
Don't scare anybody. Very reasonable.
No, it's not that much, but I don't see the price here.
I'm
I'll
trying
tell
to
you
look
what, it's
for
a
the price.
great zine. Yeah, I just don't see it.
I don't see the
It does
price,
have a
but
barcode in the back. Yeah, if you can scan that, you can figure out the price, I guess. Probably
yeah,
$10 or so.
I don't see
I'll
the
tell you
price
what,
on there.
yeah, whatever it is, it's well worth
That's no
it.
problem. We will have the contact information
what,
below, and you can
There's a
contact
QR
them and
code
find out.
there. There's a QR code. I wonder if that QR code will tell. I got a QR reader here. Let me see. Very quickly here. Where's
But
my
it's easy
QR reader?
to.
There it
I'm
is.
sure his email will be included. You can email him and find out the price, or you can email Tom Fellrath and find out the price, which may even be quicker.
Okay, but I just hit the QR reader. Let's see if it works. It doesn't work. These things never work. These things never work when you need them to. You know.
I hate to mess with that, but yeah.
Heck with it.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. Whatever it is, it's worth it. I can guarantee that. Okay, I didn't want to mention.
Find out. Yeah.
This one's top. This is beyond top notch. This is incredible. This is great.
Very good.
Brilliant. Hats off to Tom and Keith.
Yeah.
I said hats off. Okay, that's good enough.
There you go. All right. What do we got next here?
We got one here called Shelter Dog.
Oh, Shelter Dog. That's very important.
Hear my southern accent, Shelter Dog. See, Southerners say dog like D-A-W-G, Shelter Dog. But
there's the Shelter Dog.
Jason Degroot.
And that's by Jason Degroot. But it is let's see if we can get this right. It's a publication that he did and invited a number of artists to participate, but he gives them to animal shelters so that they can sell them and earn a little money. That's the idea behind these. Right. He gives them a certain amount.
Larned Justin was involved with this. I'm not going to mention it, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. But Larned Justin had something to do with this.
Yeah, I did part of it, and
we'll get to that in a minute.
But that's the idea that he will give a certain amount to a rescue shelter. They sell them, and they keep the money. That's how that works.
And
so
these
pretty
are
good charity.
These are stories. Plus,
you get a really neat comic. You can get a very neat comic doing that. You know. And
here's story. This is artwork by Terry S. Wood.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful job, and a story written by Jason Degroot. This is when Shelter Dog first pops in.
Yeah.
You got a guy saying, "I want a puppy. I want a puppy." And so Shelter Dog, who's always wanting to help out, pops up and starts to ask about starts to interview the guy, asking him questions. Why do you want a puppy? And and he's the guy's saying why he would like to have a puppy. To do stuff like wrestling in the grass with, and playing fetch. He enjoys puppy breath, and Shelter Dog brings in a dose of reality somewhere along the line, and then he says, "Okay, those sound like great reasons to get a puppy, and I think I can get the perfect puppy for you, but before I do." And this is where you get to, this is the thing about it. They're talking, Shelter Dog relates to animal shelters and taking care of animals that need to be taken care of. So he says, what if your puppy chews up your favorite comic book? And the boy's like, what if he poops in your cool shoes?
There you go. It can happen.
Look at this artwork by Terry Wood. That's so
very
good.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so smooth. and on and on and on. So he gives the guy a drilling, and what if the dog needs a walk, go for a walk, needs a bath, and he says, take all the time you need. So what Jason is doing here is he's giving you a dose of reality. So you want a puppy.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do everything it entails to take care of this animal?
Yeah, which is a lot of work.
And the little boy has to sleep on it. So he sleeps on it, and he wakes up and says, I want a puppy.
There you go.
Yes, he's decided he's willing to take care of the puppy, and Shelter Dog pops up with the puppy.
Yep.
It's kind of wonderful. I mean, it's really kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, if you love animals, you got to be willing to take care of them. Look at this. Look at this great artwork by Terry Wood. Gosh.
Yeah. Really nice. Really nice. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it goes on and on. There's more here.
Yeah, my story is Too Many Pennies.
We're going to get to that. We'll get to that next week. We're not going to talk about it tonight. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But Lauren is like, what about my story? Okay. Here it is. Too Many Pennies.
Yeah.
Jason Degroot and Larned Justin.
Yeah. Jason wrote it. I drew it. And
style. Tell us about this story, Larned.
Well, it's about a bunch of little tiny dogs. They're little tiny dogs that you see. I got to look here.
Penny.
The little boy wants the dog to have a lot of puppies. Okay. So the shelter dog says, kind of tells him, well, this is what's going to happen if you get a lot of dogs. So
now, the dog's name is Penny. The dog that he has is named Penny.
And if you get too many pennies, you got a problem. And these are little pennies. You could hold them in your hand, a bunch of them. And that's kind of the story. I don't want to give the whole thing away, but that's kind of the story that if you want a lot of puppies, you got a lot of work.
Yeah, that's what Shelter Dog. Shelter Dog pops in with a dose of reality, no matter what. Yeah. You know, I want a dog. I want
a lot of those puppies and everything. And
if you got one penny,
you what it's like.
Right? Yeah. If she's not fixed, you're going to have a lot of little pennies. A lot of little pennies.
And so you can see in some of the panels. I don't know if you can see it that well. If you look in some of the panels, there's a lot of pennies on the ground. I would drop little dogs forever doing this.
Yeah. So there's a responsibility. You know, you got to get this dog fixed if you're going to.
Yeah. Otherwise, you got a problem.
Yep.
Anyway, Jason wrote the story. I drew it, and it's in here, and I enjoyed drawing it.
Yeah, I like your artwork here, you know. Well, that looks good, and this looks good right here too. And you got more and more pennies popping up.
Yeah.
But I like there's a wheelbarrow. This one with a wheelbarrow with all the pennies in it.
All the pennies in it. Yeah, that's the only way you can cart them around. You wanted so many dogs.
After a while, you're going to have so many pennies that you have to take care of them. He says, just imagine if they were all regular size. That would be a lot of food and a lot of poop. A lot of poop to clean up if you have too many pennies. So you got to do something. You got to do something. Once again, the whole book's about if you're going to be an animal owner, if you're going to be a dog owner, for instance, you got to face up to your responsibilities.
Yeah.
And Larned's cartoony style is just. I like this guy here. This guy here with the mustache right here.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah.
I like that.
Sandwich man. Yeah.
So, great stuff.
But then the next story is Shelter Cat. Look at that, Shelter Cat, and that one
John Muller.
Jason wrote, but John Muller did the letters and the artwork. And if you know his work, it's just excellent.
A little different. It's interesting because you see John Moeller doing a lot of science fiction stuff and a lot of fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
And to see him here doing cartoony stuff, it's kind of an interesting, different take for him.
Yep. Yeah.
So
really cool.
Yeah, but he does a great job with it. This is Shelter Cat. What if you have a cat?
Yeah.
And you have the same thing. You have to take care of him, and he talks about all the problems, the hairballs, the yowling, and I can't even talk, as one guy says, I can't even talk about what the cat did in my bathroom.
There you go.
This is, so, the guy's bawling about how much work it is to take care of a cat.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't think so, but it is.
You wouldn't, But then the cat pops up, as Shelter Cat does, and says, can I get this on screen here? Okay, right there. I love you. Somewhere along the line, the cats they'll cuddle up to you and let you know that they love you. And everything else is forgiven. Yeah, and that's the way it is. I mean, that's truly the way it is if you have a pet, a dog or a cat. The love that you get is just, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
And Larned has his dog, Zoe.
Huh?
Zoe. I've met Zoe, your dog.
I have Zoe the dog, my own dog, yes.
And I went out walking with you one morning. We went out walking, and Zoe refused to poop in the woods.
That's her MO. Wherever you think she should go and poop, she doesn't think she should go and poop there.
She didn't want to do it.
No.
Maybe because I was there.
Yeah.
So,
but that's owning a dog.
I'm not allowed to have any animals in this house. But we'll see what happens in the future.
There. Yeah.
I'm an animal. Yeah.
Enough trouble
I'm getting married soon. I think I'm getting married soon. I think so. I have a fiance coming over from the Philippines soon. We'll see how it goes, folks. I'll keep you. I'll let you know.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
But this is a good one. Shelter dog.
Yeah.
Jason's making a point here. He's making a point. He's saying something important with this, and it's also just a great comic. And it's the production is great. Full color cover, and for a comic that he's going to have the shelters give away, it tells people what it takes to own a dog. So it really does two purposes. They're not giving them away; they're selling them, so they earn a little money. Plus, they inform the public on what it takes to have a dog or a cat. That was a brilliant thing to do. I mean, Jason, it was well done.
Smart coming up with that.
Really well done. Jason, kudos.
Yep.
Jason Degroot. Another terrific project from Jason.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Because we got so much stuff.
We got a lot.
Where are we at?
How about
34 minutes? Almost 35 minutes.
How about Mustard Comics?
That's the one I had in my hand. Right there.
Yeah. There's Mustard Comics. Now, there is one thing about Mustard Comics. We have copies, but it's for the patrons, actually.
Micah Liesenfeld.
Yeah, it's Micah's, but it's for his patrons. And what it is a bunch of things that Micah has done over the years, all combined into Mustard Comics. And it's mustard because Micah likes mustard. Simple as that. I like mustard. On my stuff, he likes mustard, so Mustard Comics.
He says right here at the beginning, I know what you're thinking. Mustard flavored, yum yum. That's what I'm usually thinking. And eating. So what would be a more appropriate title for a zine collecting all the random comics I've made than the condiment that fuels most of my appetite?
There you go. See?
And he shows you stuff, older stuff. Here's where he did a page based on 2001: A Space Odyssey. And he did this in 1998.
Yeah.
And if you ever saw the movie, at the beginning of the movie, you have a guy jogging around a gigantic space station. which is a big circle. But it's, there's no gravity, so he's he's just going around in a circle. And Micah depicts that. Micah depicts that.
Micah, yeah.
And this is quite different from the last book that we reviewed.
Oh,
from
really?
Micah.
Very different. Everything in here is a little different. Yeah, yeah.
But it goes to show, the diversity of talent, the great talent that he has.
Yeah.
Here we are. Something about the Watchers, which is actually a satire on Pokemon. So this is a Pokemon type character, a little more furry, a little more. I'm colorblind, but I think that's orange.
This is from 2023. He did this.
Yeah, so that's not too long ago. That looks like Micah's.
That one's not too long ago, but he does have some older things in here also. But and you can see part of it's color, part of it's black and white.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. And
that's neat. And he has explanations at the bottom. He talks. He has little
he tells you
everything.
when he did it and the circumstances of how he did it, why he did it, and that kind of thing. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. It's supposed to be for his Patreons, but maybe you can get one. I don't know. Without being a Patreon, I don't know. We'll have his contact info, and you can find out. But we wanted to. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's on Patreon, so check out his Patreon page. If we can post a link to it, it'd be great. Otherwise, look for it, find it. But contact Micah. But this is something he did in 2007. It just shows his diversity. He's doing a
completely different style that he did
completely different
back then. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. Some funny stuff. Some funny stuff he does. Lex and Lisa, lightning bug. Well, I don't know. They had an argument, and it ends with her dropping a bag of electric eels on his head.
See, that's what happens when you argue with a girlfriend.
Yeah, you don't argue with a woman if you're a guy. You just don't do it. And
They'll throw eels on your head every time.
So there's some great stuff. And on. Let me see. Oh, here's some stuff published by Buzz.
Bazizik.
Buzzilisk. You know this guy. You've met him in person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we all know. Everybody should know Buzz by now.
Everybody should know Buzz, but apparently, well, of course, that's not his real name. And it says here, and I
do know his real name, but
well, he says he was the original editor of the White Buffalo Gazette. Yeah. Who was the original editor of the White Buffalo Gazette?
That's how I knew him. When later he went to a couple people, and then I did it. But yeah.
But you don't know his real name?
I know his real name. Back when he did the original White Buffalo Gazette, he was Max Traffic at that time.
Aha!
Then he changed to Buzz Bazizik.
Yeah.
And I do know his real name, but I'm not going to reveal it because I don't think he
didn't change to Larned Justin, did he? I heard Larned Justin had something to do with the White Buffalo Gazette as well.
I published it for a while, about a year.
So he's not you.
He's not me.
You're not him.
No, he's a completely different guy, and not me.
Okay.
No.
All right.
And he lives in Florida. With you.
Oh, does he? It might be me. Maybe it was me.
Maybe it's you. Yeah, because he lives in Florida.
I don't think so, though.
It's not you?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember doing that. And then there's a thing about alien invaders. I guess he did this too. Let me see. Oh, yeah. This is this Buzz? Or who is
alien
this?
Invaders.
But it has to do with the jam that Jason Degroot is doing now. The character named Digby. This character named Digby and his dog appear in this. Right?
Yeah.
And they also appear in the jam that Jason Degroot is working on right now. But this isn't by Jason. This is by someone else. Is this part of it? Yeah, it says 15. It's SJ 15. So it's makes me want to check it out.
Yeah.
Sunday Jam. Yeah, of course, the Sunday Jam. The Sunday Jam, it says SJ15 right here. So Sunday Jam 15. And I guess, I don't know if this is by Buzz or not. It might
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
But this jam is ongoing.
Yeah.
Jason Degroot keeps popping up in our conversations here because he's doing a lot of great stuff, and he's doing a lot of really cool stuff right now. So you got to hand it to Jason. Even if he's not involved with the zine, he's still mentioned in it or something.
He's still around,
he's still there. He's an influence. Jason, you're an influence, and you do. So we're pretty excited about that Digby. So what else we got? Oh, this one's nice. Story, Micah Liesenfeld. Micah wrote and penciled this story, and is another cartoonist, Kathy DeLoria, inked and colored this. Look at this. Is that not beautiful?
I had that. I was showing that a little earlier in here. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. I have to get used to looking down because you have the stuff down there. I see Mustard Comics down there, so I'll get used to it. I will. Let's see. There's another page.
Yeah,
and that's gorgeous.
So we'll have the contact info, and he can let you know if you can get it without being a Patreon or whatever. But you're a patron, I mean. He'll let you know, and
we got so much stuff here.
We got a lot to get through here. Yeah,
it's 43 minutes, 44 minutes. I got 2 issues of the good, the bad, and the sketchy here.
Yes, this is the Mid-South Comics Association, and we've got this from Dale Martin.
Dale Martin sent these. Yeah, the Mid-South Cartoonist Association in Memphis, Tennessee, where I lived when I was between the ages of like 6 and 9. I lived in Memphis. But I didn't know any other cartoonists or any other small press people, but I was buying comics at that time. But yeah, we got a couple of issues by these guys, these incredibly talented people. Here's issue number 10, The Good, the Bad, and the Sketchy. I don't know who did that cover. Let's look on the inside.
It tells you on the inside who did what. And I
don't know. There's something called Comic Block.
Story, it's the group's comic book, Mid-South Comics Association comic book. Very cool. And
these guys publish from time to time.
Our good friend Dale has, he's got, and get here, Watusi the Talking Dog
issues, I think.
right there.
Yep.
There's Watusi the Talking Dog. And the way you read this, you read across the top. The next one down continues the same story, and the next one down continues the same story. So it ends.
I know. I had to read that twice.
I had to figure it out too. And in fact, even this one says continued. This one says continued next issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to read them. That's how you read them.
Right there, yeah. So Dale Martin.
And I know something that they've got information on this fellow Sam Ray, who had passed away maybe a couple of years ago. But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But the great thing is his single panel cartoons are hilarious. I mean, to do single panel cartoons that are that funny, and they've got a bunch of them in here. Every one of them's funny. Of course, he did work, you know, for the Wall Street Journal and places like that. So these were published nationally. But I just thought, I had never heard of the guy, and this was really interesting to me. I just love these. These are great.
The Wall Street Journal, huh? So he was a...
Yeah. He did work for the Wall Street Journal. He did for other publications also. So he was, you know, pretty much a professional. But his one panel comics are just very funny. And that's so hard to do. But, yeah. Well, that was interesting. I'm glad that was in there.
I don't know why this is funny to me, but you got a guy here that's blindfolded, getting ready to be shot, and he says, anyway, to make a long story short, why is that funny? He's telling your life.
And that's the title of the article. That's the title of this whole article. To make a long story short.
Oh, okay. But it's also, yeah, that's right. It is. Remembering Your Colleague by Jim Palmer.
Yeah.
It's a guy getting ready to get shot.
Yeah. I like this one in particular, the Noah's Ark. Oh boy, I can't make myself do this. Maybe you can see it better over here. The Noah's Ark one, right down here. I don't know if you can see it better there.
Oh, on the first page?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Take it easy on the woodpecking. He's talking to the woodpeckers. Take it easy on the woodpecking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to do a lot of, I did a lot of Noah's Ark cartoons. I just thought there was, I like that one.
There's a lot you can deal with there. There's a lot of.
Yeah. I used to, I always wondered about the poop deck. It must have been awfully full. You know?
Let me see something here. Speaking of Jim Palmer likes to do. He's obviously Jim Palmer is influenced by late 1930s newspaper comics, and also late 1930s comic books. In this one, you can see his influence. You can see the influence of the 1930s sort of Siegel Schuster type artwork. And right there, he has that there, but he has an even more obvious influence in issue number 11, where he does a satire of Superman, and it's the early.
Right here. I got it right here.
You got it? The Adventures of a Real Man.
Yeah.
So he's just a man. He doesn't become Superman, but this is drawn in the style of the late 1930s, and you see the guy, he's getting drunk. You know, he never quite made it to Superman, apparently.
It's kind of a strange ending, but anyway, it's good. It has a little bit strange ending.
He's heavily trying to mask his pain, and then, you know, it's totally the opposite of Superman, and then he dies.
Yeah, that's the ending. And then he dies. Boom.
But it's funny.
Comic book over.
Because it totally looks like 1938 or 1939, you know? It totally does.
I know.
So, there's a lot of great stuff in both of these issues. These mid-self cartoons. Oh, and this story is continued from Jason Negane, N-E-G-E-N. Negane. We talked about this one last time.
This is part 8, and this issue is issue 11. But we just looked at issue 10, and it's not in there. So I don't know where the other parts were. But this is part 8.
We talked about it. It was in an earlier issue.
Must have
been. You got this evil scorpion guy.
Yeah.
And this young team of superheroes who are battling him. And his pals going. Apparently, I think he defeated there was an older crop of heroes, and I think he defeated them, and they're being held captive somewhere or something, and then the younger heroes took over. And so they say, now it's our turn. And look at that artwork. It's just so good.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Really sharp realism. This is definitely a modern style of comic book artwork.
Now these are $3, so you can pick these up. These are $3 for really neat comics. So
that's totally worth. That's a great deal.
These are issue 10 and 11 that we have.
Well, some more artwork there.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's artwork is amazing. And
yeah,
the story's pretty good too. You like to see it all. You want to see it all compiled in one like graphic novel where you can see the entire story.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
And then of course, Dale Martin has Watusi in there. Again, you read it across the top, then the next one, then the next one. It all continues. That's how you read that.
We love Dale Martin. We love his work.
Yep.
So,
and the bottom is a little different. It's kind of an ad rather than the story. So it's really only the two first and second lines go together, and the last one's kind of an ad for Watusi. But very cool.
Has something to do with a washer and a dryer, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, the professor's always inventing. Yeah, and he has invented these things that are pretty much useless most of the time.
Yeah, instead of being useful, they turn out to be disastrous.
Yeah,
so.
Usually. Great stuff. Great stuff in both of these.
We got what's her name? Katie Jones.
Bunch of great artists down in Tennessee.
Katie Jones has a distinctive style. I want to mention her because
you
mentioned her last time.
Yeah.
Very distinctive. Yeah.
Yep.
And all these guys in the it makes me want to go back to Memphis.
Yeah, really.
I'd like to go back to. I believe I might have told this story before, but I did. I was going to go back to Memphis back when I was married, and this was like 20-some years ago, and I was going to, because I left Memphis when I was 9 years old, but we decided, my wife and I at the time, we decided we were going to drive across North Carolina, because I live on the east coast of North Carolina, Tennessee, Memphis. Memphis is all the way on the western part of the state, and I was going to go back and look at the stuff that I remembered from when I was a kid. And we started driving, but we didn't get very far, and the car broke down. And they fixed it, or they thought they did, and then it broke down again. This is in Greensboro, North Carolina, and when they fixed the car the second time, and it was something simple. It's called a freeze plug. It's a little thing, right? But anyway, we turned around and went back to North Carolina, back to the U.S. Forget it, I'm not going back to Memphis. And I haven't been there since I was 9 years old. I'd still like to go back one day. I've heard it's changed a lot. Anyway, what I do know is they have a thriving cartoonist community there.
That's
artists
for sure.
And cartoonists. Thanks to Dale for letting me know about this.
Yeah.
There's other stuff coming out of Memphis, out of Tennessee. There's a lot of cool stuff in Tennessee. I don't know. The Daily Wire comes out of Tennessee. Those guys.
Did you get a little? Did you get a little Christmas card from Dale? Like that? Did you get one?
Yeah. I don't know. I got some stuff that's all mixed up over here.
Well, see what? If you look very closely, there's a present for Watusi, and he's not there. Somebody delivered a present. It's right. It says Watusi right on it, and Watusi is not there.
Yeah, he's not there because he's probably down here in Florida.
I don't know where he went, but he's not there.
Yeah, what happened? And speaking of that, I think I sent Dale, and I know I sent you a copy of this one.
Yes, I have that. I do have that.
That's the Beacon Christmas card, folks. Now, I sent this to Steve Willis, and Steve says, this is the first Christmas card he's received from me since 1988. I don't know what happened. I can tell you, I did these Beacon. The Beacon is a character, a humorous parody superhero character that I've been writing and sometimes drawing ever since 1973 or 4. Dale said I used to send about every year. I used to do one every year, a big Christmas. And then after a while, I think it was after my divorce, things kind of fall apart. And but I didn't do it for a long time. And recently I've started doing it again. And so I sent this one out. It might not be the best one I ever did, but if you haven't received it, if you want one, I've still got a few copies left. I'll send it to you.
How much are they? 25?
Let me know.
How
Yeah,
much
let
are
me
they?
know. I know you got a copy.
Yes, that's right there, right below you.
I see it. There it is. It's right there on the table. I got to get used to it. I'm going to get used to this. Yeah.
Now,
That's a pretty good feature.
Did you get a Christmas card from Tom Fellrath?
I got that one. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Got a Christmas card from Tom Fellrath. So we're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing good.
I got Tom Fellrath. I got something from, this is from George Lane III.
Oh,
from
okay.
George Lane.
Did not get that.
And he, there's some artwork by George.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, George lives close to Orlando. He lives not far from here.
Yeah.
We haven't met in person, but we should sometime.
Yeah.
Who's this for? Oh, here you go. Here's Dale Martin's card. I got
There's his card. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I got that one. Yeah.
Well, we got them all.
It says here, have a Merry Christmas, Steve. Tell Larned that I'll send him a card next year. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks for spotlighting me. He's very nice. It's very kind.
Yeah, right.
And he's got some, and he's got some of his books on the back that people can order.
Yeah.
So it's Temptation. That's what he puts it on the back of his Christmas card. Like, if you like the card, order these books.
Yeah.
You'll like those even better. And it is.
Yeah.
It is a cool card. That's right. I had it. I had stuck. I got a mirror over here, and I got Christmas cards all around the mirror, and I put them up there. So that's where that was. And
okay.
We're getting close here to the grand finale.
The big finale coming up.
Did you get this one from Clark Dissmeyer?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
Actually, I got it in a package from Dale Martin, which lets you know where the grand finale is. We're heading in that direction.
I thought I did.
12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Mushy the Mushrooms, 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah, here it is. I got that.
It's mixed in with all this other stuff that Dale Martin said. And I can see why
mine was all mixed in there too, yeah. But anyway, there's Clark Dissmeyer's Mushy's 12 Days of Christmas. How about that?
Which is wonderful.
Mushy the Mushroom.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a puppy in a pear tree.
See?
So he goes
a little different.
Yeah, he goes through the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a little different.
Three French hens. And you see there, they got on the French berets, and they're smoking and drinking coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The 3 French hens. Clark, you nut. This is funny stuff. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. On the 4th day of Christmas, 4 calling birds. My true love sent me 4 calling birds, and you see they're all on their
They're all on phones. They're all on phones. Very cool. Yeah.
Yep. So,
calling birds. What else would they be? What's a calling bird? Got to be on a phone.
Let me see here.
This one is
9 ladies dancing. He says, over there. And you look over there, and he says, you just missed them. So he missed the 9 ladies dancing. And what do you got there?
Yeah. Crazy.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me He says, well, I drew 10 Lords of Leaping, but I can't show it to you because it would break the fourth wall. So, between the cartoon characters and us.
And on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming. Oops, I ran out of ink. He ran out of ink before he could finish doing the drawing. How about that?
Yeah, and then he's got the 13th day of Christmas. He just doesn't want to deal with it. He said, stop. So that's Steve Western.
Funny guy.
Yeah. And we love Clark. And in memory of Pat, for whom these postcards were drawn. So someone he loved passed away, but that's sad. But it's a wonderful it's a wonderful card. I don't know if he's selling these or just sending them out. I would imagine if you send something to Clark, he'll probably send them.
I think it'd be nice to have one of these. Maybe you can contact him and ask for one. I'll give you his contact info.
Yep.
All right.
And now,
are we ready?
We're ready.
We're ready. Here is, I got to read this. The Silvers of Light in an Endless Night. That is the name of Steve Willis' latest comic.
The slivers, not silvers, slivers.
You
got to look good. Slivers of light.
In an endless night. But what this is a jam comic. Yeah. And Steve starts out the stories and other cartoonists finish them. Pretty cool. Steve and I both have done some. They're not in this book, but they will be coming up. But this is the first
I got a jam comic. Steve Willis sent me something. He sends everybody something different, but there's one that I'll be working on. Larna's working on one. And
I finished one, and I'm getting another one. He just told me another one's coming in the mail. But I did finish one, so that one will probably be in his next book. But this is the first one. This is the first one he's tried. His normal comic was Cranium Frenzy, and he says he's not going to do Cranium Frenzy anymore. He's going to, well, this is one thing he's going to be doing. So, I don't know. Steve is changing a little bit. Who knows? He may go back to Cranium Frenzy. I don't know.
Yeah, he just taking some time to do some jams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and they are way out there. Let me tell you.
There's other people involved. Charles Brubaker, Bob Rickert, Jack Latterman, and Buzz
Bazizzik is in it. And then there's a guy called Anvil, and the Anvil does not want the rest of his name known.
Oh, he has to do something with the back cover, which is a good back cover.
Strange. He has a strange drawing style here.
Yeah.
I think that's his. The Anvil.
Puzzle for the Fizzled Wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. The toaster isn't working. So someone is having a problem with the toaster, and they're going, I've consulted all my, some kind of a witch. I've consulted all my esoteric manuals, and no amount of magic is effective. And towards the end, someone who looks like, I don't know if Steve drew it or this Anvil person says, you could just plug the damn thing in.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a toaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a toaster. But Steve starts them out, gives them to the next guy, and the next guy does maybe a page, and it might go back to Steve. And I know I did a couple pages because I sent back to Steve, and then he sent me another one, and I did it. So anyway, they're funny.
Are you in this issue?
No, I'm not in this issue.
No, you'll be in the next one probably.
Next one, yeah. But a lot of neat cartooning in here.
Yeah.
I think this is Brubaker right here, I believe.
Yeah, you can definitely. What you do is first of all you spotlight, you look for Steve's work.
Yeah.
You look for Steve's work, and you can see it right there. It's obviously Steve, and you can tell.
And you can see when it changes. Yeah, then you see it change. So you know that's the other jam artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So what is he doing here? In between performances, I'd take off my sweltering giant cat head, go in the alley behind the theater, and get my nicotine fix. He realized he was not alone. There's people in the background.
Yeah.
So there's people in creatures, cat-like creatures and dog-like creatures watching, and then it goes to the next guy to move on from there. So this is a jam. And I guess that's the Brubaker? Charles Brubaker?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So one of the dogs challenges the guy. Yeah.
And
challenges him to a fight. Put him up, you chicken. So.
Now, if you want one of these, and you should, you send Steve Willis some stamps or a trade. If you do comics, send him a comic, he'll trade you for it.
That looks like more of the Charles Brubaker right there.
Yeah.
I remember there was a movie called Brubaker, Ronald Redford, 30 years ago. Played a warden. Never mind. Oh, this one's really bizarre. This one's really wild.
Oh, this is way out there. Yeah.
Sense of displacement. This one's like super. This is just berserk. Okay, I don't know. Let me see. Does Steve start this one?
I don't know.
I think Steve started it.
Yeah, I think Steve starts them all.
Let me see. There was a large statue in the middle of town. Okay, well, this basically what happens is this guy. Yeah, he did. Because this guy meets this little elf, and he's like a gangster elf. Yeah, this guy. He's like an Al Capone type elf, but he's got a knife.
And
he takes this guy's nose and he alters it. And
he's got a little face on it when he gets
right
done.
there. Yeah, so it looks like Steve Willis. Little talking head on his nose.
On the end of his nose.
Which changes this guy's life. And the funny thing is, he kind of likes it. He kind of likes his little talking nose, but then flatulence sets in.
Out of the back of his head. You know?
And this looks like that's somebody. That's another artist.
That's something to worry about. If you've got a face on your nose, you could flatulate out of the back of your head, I suppose.
Yeah, so you've got an extra nose. And now you're basically farting all the time. And
it can happen. It can happen.
It's kind of disgusting, but it's kind of funny too.
Now you know what else?
Thought of this?
You know what else Steve Willis does is Morty. Here's a bunch of Morty. He sent a bunch of Morty cartoons here.
Oh, yeah.
And Morty's are all originals. If he sends you a Morty cartoon, it's an original, you know.
I got all kinds of stuff here. Thanks,
I got a bunch.
We love you, bro. We love you. You're the best.
But here's the important thing. Like this one here, let me see. They're all numbered. And this one here is 9,876. That's this one. Oops. That's this one. Steve reached 10,000. And what he did when he reached 10,000, he made a video. So we're going to take a look at that video right now. We'll be right back. Take a look at Steve's video of his 10,000th Morty comic.
It is now December the 3rd, 2024. And this is the day that Morty Comics number 10,000 has been attained. What you are looking at is Morty Comics 10,000. It took me 14 months to draw this sucker. It'll be weird not to be working on it. You can see a lot of the characters here have been in the last couple of years. You've probably seen them in my Cranium Frenzy series. Morty Comics started in late February 1983 and ran until the end of 1999. and went through a hiatus until definitely 2010. And I've been at it ever since. The last 3 years, I've really been going into hyperdrive with this series. I do plan to continue Morty Comics after this, and maybe even get to number 20,000. Who knows? Here you can see some of my more traditional characters, especially right in the middle. There's Morty the dog with Cosmo Bear, and Muki, the mutant membrane, one of the more refreshing characters in my cast. And we'll just back up so you can get a bird's eye view, or a sideways bird. There we go. My plan is to cut this up into little pieces and share it with everyone who's on my distribution list. I think I can, it's like a birthday cake at an office party. I think I can cut it up to make it enough to go around. Here are the envelopes. I'll put them in. That's the way they'll be marked. And over here, next to my Norm cup, proving I am quite normal, you can see the farm equipment on there, proving it, that I bought this special implement just to cut this up. My plan is to include this copy of Morty Comics in the next book that will be released probably later this month. It will be jam full of jams, and I'm planning to do several books like that in the next few months into late 2024 and early 2025.
Okay, so he sent what he did, as he told you in the video. He cut it up into 80 pieces, and he sent everybody on his mailing list a piece of the 10,000th Morty comic. Here's mine, right in this. Here's an envelope. I have number 39, and here is my piece of the 10,000th comic. Let's see yours, Steve. Let's see yours.
Okay, here's my piece.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. And you got what, number? I got 39. What'd you get?
What 40.
Number did you get? 40? Oh, okay.
Number 40.
Cool. Hey, he must have been thinking of us at the same time.
Right.
Anyway, pretty
there
cool.
You go.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I have to look at the video again. Does he show the entire picture? Like all of these are like one giant collage?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah. It's in the video we just looked at. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, boy, I think we've done it. Wow. That was quite a few comics, actually.
That was an hour and 12 minutes or so.
Wow. Yeah, that was a long one, which will take a long time to upload. If we make an hour-long video, it takes 6 hours to upload it to the editor. I don't know why, but it does. So, anyway, that was fun. I just wanted to get this in the video. This is Nick Durga's Amoeba Adventures, an ad for it, for the latest copies of that excellent comic book. Says $12.99, available now in paperback on Amazon.com. So you want to make sure you pick up either one of those. And it's Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Yep.
This is our Christmas video. You can tell, 'cause I got a Christmas tree.
Yep.
He's got a Christmas hat.
You know that by the bell.
Mm-hmm.
So, wonderful. Well, if you would like your comic on here, and I don't know why you would, but if you would like it on here, you can send Steve one and me one, and we will get it on here.
That's for darn sure.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see you next time.
All right. We will see you next time. This has been fun. So long.
Bye-bye.
Bye.